Good morning, everybody. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International. And today we're going to be talking about how to stop losing money. We're also going to give you some government websites that I just recently learned about so that you can track government spending. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a good day today. So start inviting your friends. Share whatever medium you're watching us on or listening to us on. Share it with your friends. This is going to be information I did not even know about yesterday, but I do know today, and I'm going to be sharing it with you in just a couple of moments. So get ready for a very good show. All right. See you in a little bit. All right, B. All right, everybody. We're going to get started today, and we're going to be talking about how to stop losing money today. But first, I want to share some information with you. You know what? I need to put the link up to YouTube. Let me go ahead and get that done. All right. So we're going to put our link up to YouTube so that you guys can, once we start showing some examples, you want to be able to see those examples. All right, so let me get my link. All right, and we're going to copy it and we're going to bring it over here to Clubhouse so that you guys can have that. All right, there we go. And let's see here. There it is. And we're going to put that in there, paste it in there. All right, there we go. Add the link. All right. So if you want to watch us, you want to see us on Clubhouse, you want to see some of our examples, go ahead and do that. But right now, I'm going to be sharing with you all on social media and on Clubhouse here, where you can get these links. Okay. We have links to government websites. And I just learned about it so that you can track spending today. Let me see here. Let's bring that up so you guys can see the screen here. All right. So first of all, I want to share this with you. All right. Let's turn this on. All right. There we go. I want to share this with you. I listened to a podcast called Planet Money. So you want to check that out. I'm going to put a link to this podcast here for you. Planet Money. Let me bring up my notes. And there we go. Podcast Planet Money. And we're going to be sharing that with you guys. So this is where I learned this information. All right. So we're going to put that in the chat. Okay. Let's put this over here so that you guys can have that. All right. Send that out. All right. So it's called the Big Government Money Pipe Freeze, the Big Government Money Pipe Freeze. And so let me put this in the comments over here as well. There we go. That is for Apple Podcasts. And the podcast is called the Planet Money. And this particular episode, the Big Government Money Pipe Freeze. So I was interested in listening to it because of everything that's going on in the government right now and how different agencies are being shut down and how they're getting access to their money. But I did not know that there was a website that you could go and check out all of this. And it is, let's see, fiscaldata.treasury.gov. Fiscaldata.treasury.gov. All right, so we're going to copy that and put this in here for you as well. All right, and paste that. And here it is, fiscal data. All right, this is good information here. Now, I found this particular website because I'm not familiar with it. All right, because I'm not familiar with it, kind of hard to navigate. All right, but if you listen to the story, it's very interesting on what's really going on here. So I'm sending out these links to everybody as we speak. All right, but there is the what's called the Hamilton Project. They've taken a lot of this data and built a widget that compiles a lot of the data from this fiscal data. So you can get what's called the daily treasury statement, the daily treasury statement. So every day, the government will tell you how much money it's spending every day on whatever. It's called the daily treasury statement. Have you ever heard of it? I never heard of it. So in this document, on this website is what's called the daily treasury statement. And here it is, the daily treasury statement. Look at that. You can go through this and find out, no, you got to spend some time on it, but you can find out what is being spent and where on a daily basis. The government is that transparent and shows you everything that is being spent and those things that are not being spent. And you can track whose money is shut off and whose money is still turned on by this website. So the daily treasury statement, let me give you that. Let me see that copy, and we're going to give that to you as well. The daily treasury statement. Okay, wait a second. It didn't paste. Look, hold on. Let me copy it again. Let me try this again. The daily treasury statement. Here it comes. And I think you're going to like this. All right, there we go. And I see we have somebody on the stage. How are you doing, Miss Bianca? Oh, she's on the phone. Okay, so we're going to put this out to, there's that link, the daily treasury statement, for everybody to see that as well. So you want to copy these links, folks. All right, and if you want to see this, you'll go to YouTube and subscribe. Let me go ahead and put our little subscribe button up there so people can subscribe to what we've got going on. Let's see here, subscribe. Where's our little subscribe button? Okay. And we're going to put that on the screen. There we go. So you guys can subscribe. Okay. So good enough. And now there is an organization out there where they have done a lot of work in compiling this data so that they track it in real time, so you don't have to sift through pages and pages and pages of documents to figure all of this out. It's called the Hamilton Project. Okay, so let me bring that up. The Hamilton Project, tracking federal expenditures in real time. They put this out. This is open 24 hours a day, and the government posts its daily spending at 4 o'clock Eastern every single day. That information is then fed into this widget, and then they track it and tell you what's going on with that. So spend some time on it, all right? And they track federal expenditures in real time. I thought that would be interesting. I don't have any more data on that, but there it is. Okay. And if you want the link to the Hamilton project, I will give you that as well. The Hamilton project. Let me see there. Copy that. And we're going to put that in here. We'll paste that. Hamilton project so you guys can have that. All right, there it is. And now you have what I have. Okay. So this is going to be information that some of you may find interesting. So you're not having just, talking heads telling you what's going on with government spending. It is actually posted every single day at fiscaldata.treasury.gov. And more specifically, you can get the daily Treasury statement operating cash balance. You can get all of that with how much money is going through the federal government daily. And I mean daily, spent on whatever. It's all there, and they post it every single day at 4:00. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our show today. Now, I'm going to show you some things for some of you that could be shocking. So you want to go to YouTube right now, all right? And so that you can see what we're doing here. And let me put this on the screen. All right, there we go. All right. Now, let me see here. We'll bring this back. There it is. This is one of our clients, okay? This is one of our clients we brought on a little while ago. And here is some information about what they were spending on interest and how much money they were losing every single month that they were in, that they had this debt. So just on the mortgages, all right, in their on one of their mortgages in just 2 months, all right, they paid it down by $7,000. Now this is a what is it? This is not residential property. This is investment property. Okay. So in 2 months, they paid the loan down by $7,374.92. Okay. But in 2 months, it cost them $4,609 in interest. That's how much they lost in 2 months. So in 2 months, they spent over $12,000 in mortgage payments. But look at how much interest was discounted from their $12,000, $4,600 lost that they can't recover now. So on another building, right, they've been in this one 37 months. 37 months. And in 37 months, they paid this one down by $99,795.91. That's how much principal was paid down, or you can call it potential equity. But how much interest did they lose to get that potential equity? $222,000. $222,000 in just 37 months, up in smoke, going to interest. Let me ask you folks, do you want to spend your money like that? Put it in the chat. Do you want to keep losing money day after day after day, paying mortgages, paying credit cards, paying all other debt, and losing money like this? Do you want to stop losing money? Now, we call this a comparative, and we do it for every single client. Now, in 60 months, so if they've been in the loan less than 5 years, we project it out to 5 years. If you keep on doing what you're doing, here's what you're going to lose in 5 years. In 5 years, they will pay these loans down by $409,592. So $409,000 in equity. They've increased their equity by $409,000 in 5 years. They paid the loan down that far. But guess what? Here's how much interest is going to cost. Here's how much interest they're going to lose. $472,000. Let me ask you something, folks. Do they really have equity if they paid the loan down by $409,000 in 5 years? But they're going to lose on the interest side $472,000. That is a total. Now, I want you to really understand me. It's not 409,000 of the 472,000. You add these two numbers together. So, well, we add $409,000 plus $472,000. That's a total of $881,000 paid out in 5 years. This is what this real estate investor has paid out on these commercial buildings. Now, are they making money on these buildings? You better believe that they are. They're cash flowing like crazy. But here's the thing. After paying out $881,000, they lost $472,000 of it. Is this something you all want to do? Come on, tell me in the chat. Is this how? So this is a real estate investor. How about a regular homeowner? Here it is. Okay. In 14 months, this homeowner, in 14 months, they paid their loan down, they paid their mortgage down by $3,844. But how much interest did they lose? $10,000. $10,000 in just 14 months. Now, if they keep going like they've been going in 5 years, they'll pay this loan down by $17,900. But guess how much interest they'll lose to get that $17,900? $41,683. And let me show you something. This interest rate is 4.375. 4.375, and they're going to lose in 5 years $41,683. You know, at the P.I.L.L method, we call that interest consumption. What is your interest consumption today? How much interest are you consuming on all of your loans daily or even monthly? So if you get a savings and earnings report, we will do this for you. You can have one of these, all right? And it's free. We'll give you a savings and earnings report for free so that you can know how much interest you are paying, how much interest you're losing, and how much we can recover for you. And so in 60 months, $41,000 lost. Wow. And that's at 4.375. All right. Now they still owe $237,000 and they still have 28.8 years to go. All right. That's when they came to us. Now we're going to help them pay all of this off in about 10 years. All right. But that's beside the point today. Today, we're talking about losing money. 41 grand. Here's another one. Okay. This is JP. Come on, JP, talk to us. And now this was a few years ago. This was December of 23 when they had interest rates. They have two mortgages. One was 2.875 and the other one was 2.75. Low interest rates do not mean low interest cost. The interest cost is still staggering. So in 32 months, even at 2.875, they paid this loan down by $28,000. But guess how much interest they lost along the way? $35,800. There it is. $35,800 $800 lost. And on this rental, in 36 months, they paid it down by $12,350, but they lost $14,000 in interest that they can't get back. It's gone. Given to the bank, $14,691. So if you are paying your house down by $12,000, tell me this, is it fair? Is it fair that you're working hard to pay this loan down by 12 grand, that the bank can turn around and charge you $14,000 and they get to call it 2.75%? Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to show you in a few minutes how you can figure some of this out for yourself. Okay. Now, in 5 years, guess where they'll be in 5 years? My mouth is already getting dry. Let me stop and get a drink of water. Man, look at this. In 60 months, 5 years, they will pay these two mortgages down by $75,000, doing it the bank's way, but they will lose along the way $89,303 in interest. That's at 2.75, and the other one is 2.875. Under 3%, and they're still losing a total, okay? They've already lost a total of $50,000. Now, how much interest does the bank want them to pay on both loans? Okay. In addition to that, the bank wants them to pay another $274,000 lost to the banks. $274,000 on top of the 50 grand they've already paid. Over $300,000, $325,000 gone just to interest. Losing money hand over fist. Do you all want to keep losing money like this? Can I show you another one? Listen, I'll keep showing it. I need you to see that while everybody's trying to get these low interest rates, that's not where you need to focus. If we focus on interest rates, we'll still lose a lot of money. Stop focusing on interest rate and start focusing on interest cost and how to mitigate interest cost. Pay more interest, stay in debt longer. Pay less interest, cost, get out of debt faster and cheaper. And you can learn how to pay less interest with your current budget. You don't need more money to get out of debt, folks. What you need is to pay less interest. So if you're interested, put some questions in the chat or raise your hand, come up to the stage, and let's start asking questions around how to stop losing this money. All right. So, what do we got here? All right. Okay, Dr. O, come on up. Dr. O, how are you doing this morning?
Ryan and Richard, thank you for the information and the energy. Like, it's very, very powerful in here already. And I just got here. And I've already shared it with my network already to come in this room and be here. But my question to you is, I'm getting some mortgage information as we speak for another property. And with the interest rates right now, going through a builder, they were offering 4%. Going with my own lender, if I was going to do a bank statement, which is insane, it's 10.65%. And then going with another lender, more traditional FHA, is about 7%.
Yeah.
And you were saying not to worry about the interest. So we got 4%, 7%, we got 10%. Now I'm at 800 credit score.
Yes.
Which they don't care about.
Come on, Dr. O.
I make well over six figures, which they don't care about.
Yeah.
I have about $1 million worth of assets, which they don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that, me sending in just just all kind, arm and leg, tooth and fist, second born, firstborn child, sending all the information. They're still getting me at this 7% interest rate is the least that I could find. And if I was going to do bank statement, because I didn't want to turn in my tax documents,
Yes.
they were going to go with 10.65%. So with all of that, I just went and got a pre-approved and approvals from everybody I could.
Yeah.
Shopped around like I'm supposed to, because I'm supposed to be able to shop around. And obviously with the pools of the credit, it didn't really hurt me with an 800 credit score. But my question to you, and I said all that to say, with that in mind, because I have these AKA opportunities, and no matter who you are and how rich you are and what you think about yourself, the interest rate is what the interest rate is according to whoever the lender is. You're saying that I don't need more money, but I need to have a strategy for this interest rate. So in this predicament, I am going with the 7%, and I just wanted to get your advice on refinance or cash out refi or taking equity out of some of my other properties or whatever the case may be. I mean, I know you can't give me a full-on strategy right now, but this is a real live situation that I'm making a decision actually this week on. So,
Dr. O, I can't tell you that flesh and blood have not revealed this unto you. Okay.
Amen.
All right. Are you ready? Now, I can spend some time on this. All right. So what I'm going to do is stop this screen. If you want, are you in a position to get to a computer so that you can watch some of this on screen? When you see the numbers, it makes better sense.
When you say watching on the screen, it's like that YouTube link that you have at the top?
Yeah, that YouTube link at the top.
I am. I'm going to be able to do that. I can send it to myself on another device.
Right. Or you can go to YouTube and then search P.I.L.L method and bring it up that way as well. And we're live right now on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Look at me making it to the YouTube channel. Okay, let me get on the good foot, and yes, I'm ready to go. Yes.
So stay on Clubhouse here.
Yes. I'm not going anywhere. I got you. I'm on 2 devices. I got you.
All right, because I need to be able to talk to you, and we can talk back and forth. And I'm going to tell you some things. Now, let's start with this.
Okay.
The higher interest rates are the better interest rates. The lower interest rates are the worst interest rates. One more time. One more time, just in case you think I misspoke. I love the higher interest rates if I can afford the payments. The lower interest rates, you will end up paying more interest in the long run and stay in debt longer. I'm going to show you the numbers. Are you ready?
Let me mute. Yes. I don't know what to do with myself, but I'm listening. I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm going to bring up, let me see here. We call, I'm bringing up an amortization calculator. And this is a website that a guy named Brett Whistle created, BRETWHISSEL, for everybody. So somebody, Ken, if you could put that in the chat for me, brettwhistle.net, BRETWHISSEL, EL.net. All right. Now, this is not my program. This is what I use as a teaching tool. So we have an approximate loan of how much money? Okay. Dr. O.
I can. So the home that I'm purchasing is $251,000.
Okay.
They're giving me a credit of like 10,000, a seller credit.
Yeah, I just need some basic numbers, okay? Just to show you what's going on. So I'm going to put in 251,000. I'm also going to put in 7%. Okay.
Okay.
Now here's what I'm also going to tell you. If you ever go with a builder, all right, and the builder says, don't worry about that 7%. We're going to get you 5%. We're going to get you 5.5%. What they really are doing, I see you, Dr. O. I see you there on YouTube. Okay, let me put this on the screen. She says, I am here. All right, there she says, I'm here. Okay, so if they offer you that, that means that they bought points to get your interest rate down that low.
Wow.
I would tell them, please don't buy my interest rate down for me. let me have the 7%. Let's use that money towards my closing costs or something. That money, now that's money I don't have to spend. And I'm going to show you what you can do with that money instead. All right. Okay. Now, here is this 7% loan. All right. And we're going to calculate that. And at 251,000. Okay. The payment is $1,669.91. That's just principal and interest. Okay. Now, let me show you something about the 7% loan. And I don't want it to scare you.
Okay.
This is how much interest they want.
That's the payment. Like, that's almost to the T what they told me my payment would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking.
So that's how much. I told you, don't let it scare you, doctor. Oh, that's how much interest they want, $350,000.
That's crazy.
Now, let me ask you, is this number 7% of this number? The 251,000? Of course it isn't.
It is definitely not.
It's definitely not. You know what it really is? What? Total interest paid as a percentage of principal? 139.5%.
Someone that looks like one of those title loan companies where you do a payday. That's a payday loan.
Yes. That's worse than a payday loan.
That is worse than oh my God.
Listen, your state regulates payday loans. They don't regulate this. This is legal. Okay. Now, let me show you how you can turn 7% to make it work for you. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Okay. So now, here is how this loan breaks down.
Okay.
When you make your first payment, out of that, don't laugh now. Out of that first payment, $205.74 goes to the principal, and look how much money they take out of that. Go ahead.
The devil. They take out the devil. That's what that is. It looks like the devil.
Right. All right. So it's only that way because of one thing. I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everybody. Have you ever had a class on how to read this and how to make it work for you?
Never.
Never. Do you know who else hasn't?
No.
The person who's actually selling you this loan has no idea how a mortgage works because their company didn't tell them.
Okay.
They taught them how to sell it. They didn't teach them how to understand it. Okay? Okay. So, can I show you how you can save money at the same rate they're charging you?
I'm smiling.
Okay. So, now let's pretend we're making this first payment in January, okay? So $205 went to principal, paying down that $251,000 to right here. So now this is how much you have left to pay. $250,794.26, but $1,400 of your hard-earned dollars was lost. Okay?
Literally lost.
Literally lost. Okay. So if this is January's payment, how much is February's principal payment?
206.
206. Now,
94.
Based on what you know to be true, do you have to wait till February to give the bank that money?
I absolutely do not, because I study the PILL method and I can pay my payment whenever I want to.
What?
Yes.
Okay, so if you gave them this $206.94 in January, all of that goes to principal.
That's right.
So you're paid down to line 2 in January, aren't you?
I am.
Your next mortgage payment for February is on what line of this schedule now?
3.
Exactly.
No. Well, yeah, I go down 1.
Yep, you go down 1. All right.
Yeah.
Now, so you just got rid of line 2 on your amortization schedule for only $206.
Okay.
Payment number 1 is now touching payment number 3. Boom, just like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what happened to this $1,462.97 in interest? What happened to that? That's on line 2. What happened to that?
It should have been shifted back up or eaten up.
What do you mean?
like if okay, so if I'm maybe I'm overthinking. I'm overthinking.
No,
So
just answer the best way you know how, because what we're doing is I'm asking you about information you already have about how loans work or how you believe them to work, because you are
how I
taught to think that way. Go ahead.
my belief system, I'm just going to speak from that perspective, is that if I move it down, then that interest should be eaten up, meaning that I should be paying less in interest.
How much less?
Or minus the amount of the payment. Like I don't know. I'm
Okay.
thinking in my mind, the way I'm thinking it, because if I'm paying up my mortgage in my mind, I'm paying up my mortgage 3 months ahead, then my interest should be being paid up as well.
Okay, now here's what I'm hearing you say, and most people believe this. If I give the bank money early, I'm going to save time and I'm going to save interest.
In my mind, that's my belief system, yes.
But I just don't know how much interest.
I absolutely would never know how much, but yes.
Would you like to know?
I absolutely would love to know.
Okay, so if you give the bank this early, you never, ever have to pay them this $1,462.97. It's gone.
Okay. Hold on. Listen, my soul jumped. What is it? My baby leap. Okay, so you got this John anointing going on right now, which is favor. So what I'm hearing you say is what I've learned and taught other people, that every credit card could be considered zero interest if you pay it back before the interest is due.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Same principle.
Same principle. But you want to put a pin in that, because there are times when I would rather pay credit card interest than the interest on a mortgage.
Okay, I'm listening.
And I'll show you how to do that in a minute, okay? Because you keep bringing up good information, okay? All right, so now the total amount of interest that we saw here earlier, okay? The total amount of interest that we saw here earlier was $350,000.
Yes, it was. Okay? Yes.
You just reduce how much the bank can take from you by $1,462.97 by giving them this $206 when you want to, instead of when they expect it. Anytime you give them money when they're not expecting it, you make it impossible for them to charge you interest.
Lord have mercy.
Let's go to another step. You ready?
I am.
So now I made my payment in January. I showed you this, and then you said, "Ooh, what if I give them the 206.94, the 208.15, and the 209? You know, a little over $600."
But they would be just for teaching, learning purposes. They would have to be separated. I couldn't just send a check for the total amount.
Oh, yes, you could. You could send it for the total amount.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm just picking these numbers because they're easy to pick. You can prepay any amount that you want.
Okay.
Okay. And there's a way to prepay so that every single dollar you give them will cancel more interest if you give them the right amount of money on the right day.
Okay.
So we're going to show you how to optimize your payments so that every dollar kills the maximum amount of interest for you. I'm just talking in generalities right now. Okay.
Okay.
So let's give them a little over $600. Okay. The principal payment on line 2, 3, and 4. What happens to the interest on line 2, 3, and 4?
As you have taught me today, I can honestly say they go away.
They go away. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's for over $4,400 worth of interest eliminated just like that for $600. You may have, I'm just going to take a guess here. There's a possibility you could have $600 sitting in a savings account making 0.1%.
Come on.
Okay.
Back.
All right.
Yes.
I could, because people like to look at that money in the bank.
I do.
Okay. But what if you could, let me show you something here. All right. I'm putting a calculator on the screen. Okay. Because you like to make money.
Absolutely.
All right.
My mom likes making money.
Your money likes making money. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is a good interest rate for you? Listen, what's a good return? What's a good return on your money for you?
What I've been seeing lately and normally is about 12%. But a
About
good, yeah, a good return would be 20. But yes,
20%.
Yeah.
So if I can guarantee you more than 20%, would you want to know how to do that?
Absolutely.
I can guarantee you more than 20%, because if we take this and I'm actually investing, I'm actually paying something and I'm getting a return. See, there's more than one way to make a profit. You can make a profit by increasing what you're charging. You can also make a profit by decreasing your expenditures, correct?
That's correct. It's called hedging.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So a penny saved is a penny earned.
Yeah.
But in mortgages, a penny saved is like 10 pennies earned.
Wow.
Okay. So if I give them this money early, I don't have to pay them this. So how do we do this? How do we find out what our net ROI is? This is how you figure it. I put in my $1,462.97.
Okay.
I subtract what I invested, which would be 206.94 minus 206.94 equals $1,256 net. Now I take this number and divide it by the 206.94, divided by 206.94. And when I get the answer, I multiply it by 100. That's how you figure ROI. Okay. Equals, now I multiply this by 100.
Okay.
What is my return on investment?
I can't see that calculator.
It's 600%, 606%.
Wow, that's insane.
606%. If I invest $206.94 and I don't have to pay the bank $1,462 to get it, that's a 600% return on my money.
But that's only with me jumping ahead, because if I stay on course as they would want me to, then that's how they're able to. They're winning that 600%. But if I jump ahead and don't stay there, create my own course, that's how I'm getting the 600%.
Exactly. So you want to get the discount, not them. So what they're doing is, we think of what they're doing to us as charging us interest. What they're really doing is discounting our payment. I give them, listen, you gave them a total of $1,669.91. They discounted $1,400 of it, which left you $205. So it's not interest, it's a discount. And they get it. Okay. Are you ready? So
wow.
Have you ever sold one of your properties owner financing?
No, no, not yet. Go
ahead. But if you did, would you like to get money like this if you were selling it loaner financing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me show you another thing here. This is one of the reasons why I like to use Brett Whistle. These two columns, cumulative principal, that's column number 3, and column number 4, cumulative interest. Okay.
I see it.
In one year, on line 12, we pay this loan down the bank's way by $2,500, $2,594.67.
Right.
How much do they discount our payment by in 12 months?
Is that the 4,000? I'm
Uh-uh.
sorry.
Uh-uh.
Uh,
To the right, the cumulative principal, column 4, $17,000.
oh, okay. Sorry, my screen is
Okay,
off. I see.
$17,000. So you what you'll do is take your payment of $1,600. Okay,
Yes,
that's 1669.91 times
yes,
12
yes,
comes to a total of $20,038 paid out.
yes,
Okay. Now this is a property that if it was a um if it was a property that you bought for investment purposes, it would be cash flowing money. And as long as my rent that I was bringing in is less than the mortgage payment by a significant amount, I'm cash flowing money and I feel good about it.
yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not paying attention to how much money they're giving me. My tenant is giving me $20,000 in a year. But how much equity do I get out of that 20 grand? $2,500? My tenant just gave me 20 grand. All right. But I'm totally looking at my cash flow. I'm cash flowing,
Right.
but I'm taught to only look at cash flow. I'm not taught to look at the $17,000 I just lost in interest.
At all. Yes, yes.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So
You helping me. My next because
so this equity that my tenant just helped produce in my property, another $2,549 in equity, actually cost me $17,000 to get it.
wow.
Because now, if you go to any RIA, you're going to go to any investment group, they're going to tell you that your tenant is paying your mortgage for you. That's what they say.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I
No, the tenant doesn't have a mortgage. You have a mortgage.
I am.
They're giving you money. Okay.
They're giving me money. I should be doing what I need to do with it. But yes.
That's your money. And 17,000 of it just went up in smoke in 1 year. Now, let me ask you this, okay? And I hope you're sitting down.
I am.
If I have to pay this in 1 year, if I already know that, if I add up all my principal payments for 12 months and it comes to $25,49.67, if I already know that, do I have to give that to the bank in 12 monthly installments?
I absolutely will never do that again. No. Heck no. No.
Oh, so listen, folks, if she wasn't a Christian, she would have said something else. Okay, listen, $25,49.67. What if you gave that to the bank up front on line 1?
Then that would erase, knock out 12, all that interest.
Ooh, how about that? Just so that people who are new to the room, I'm going to put in the original amount of $251,000. Okay. Wow. And then I'm going to prepay, give this to the bank all at one time on line 1, $25,94.67. Okay. So we're going to subtract $25,94.67 equals $248,450.33. That's exactly what I have on line 12, isn't it?
That is exactly what you have on line 12.
So you're saying, talk to me, Dr. O, I could give the bank this $25.49 up front and I could be paid down to line 12 in 1 month?
That's what you just slapped. Yes. I don't even know what to do with myself. Absolutely.
And what would happen to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12?
They would, like you said, you taught me today that they would go away.
Okay. So the only interest payment. So now normally it would cost me to pay my loan down to line 12. It would normally cost me $17,000 in interest to get there. And because go ahead.
If I went in order, it'd be 17,000. But if I went out of order, it would be
$1,464.17. The interest on line 1.
Line 1. Okay, so I would wipe out line all the lines of line 1.
2. Okay. Yep, 2 through 12 are gone. Your next mortgage payment then would be on what line of this schedule?
13.
Exactly. This is February's new payment now. Payment number 1 is now touching payment number 13.
Okay.
And you just saved yourself, to get the same equity, $16,038.68. $16,000. So as a real estate investor, can you now justify giving the bank $17,489 in interest just to pay the loan down by $2,500?
In 2 Timothy chapter 2 verses 3, it says silly women always learning, never coming to the knowledge of the truth. No,
mercy.
I cannot be a silly woman, never ever coming to the knowledge of the truth. No, I cannot do it. Not after this point. No.
Okay.
No.
Now, remember when I told you I don't want the bank giving me 5.5% on this.
Okay.
Okay. Let me tell you why. And if you're making notes, here's the next thing we're going to learn. Control the principal payment and you control the loan.
Control the principal payment and I control the loan. I'm ready. My heart in suspension mode. What's going on?
Interest payments you skip don't matter.
Interest payments I skip don't matter.
Nope.
Okay.
And we just skipped a whole bunch of them, haven't we?
12 of them. Yep.
Okay.
9.
All right.
11.
Everything you know about loans, the right thing to do, we're going to be doing the opposite from now on.
Oh, wow.
The opposite. Let me show you something. All right. So we're going to duplicate this tab, and I'm going to get this loan from a builder. Okay. They're going to say, listen, Don, we're going to give you 5.5%.
Right.
Everybody we know would jump on that.
Yes, because I almost did.
Okay. Now, Here we go. Now my payment is $1425.15. Look at that. $1425.15 instead of $1669. So my payment is better at 5.5. That's what's being sold to us. A better payment.
That's right.
A lower interest rate. And if they show me the total amount of interest that they want me to pay, $350,000. And on the 5.5 is no longer $350,000, it's $262,000. Still tremendous amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's not $350,000. I feel better.
No.
Okay.
Right.
So now here's what I remember. So what did I tell you? How did we control the loan?
I control the loan because
you control the principal payment.
Yes.
So my principal payment on the 7% is the second payment is $206, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I go to 5.5%, look at my payment now. It's at $275. Yeah. At 7%, I start out at 205, then 206. At 5.5%, I go to 274 and 275. When I lower the interest rate, it increases the principal payment. Now to get rid of line 2, I got to come up with $275 instead of 206. The lower the interest rate, the higher the principal payment.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, what did we learn on the 7%? $2,500 essentially gets rid of 1 year on this loan, right?
Right.
25.49. When I lower the interest rate to 5.5, let me see where 25.49 takes me on the 5% loan. Somewhere between line 9 and line 10.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do it. My dollar doesn't do as much work for me when I lower the interest rate, does it?
Mm-mm.
Now, who understands that? The people who own the bank understand it, but not the people who work at the bank.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense?
It does.
So if I'm working with a builder, and I say, listen, I'm going to buy this interest rate for you. And let's say they pay what? $12,000 for it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So they pay $12,000 for that. And I'm saying, please don't buy down the rate for me. Give me the 7% rate.
Mm-hmm.
And you take that $12,000 and help me pay my closing costs.
Oh, wow.
That's $12,000 I don't have to spend now, correct?
Yes.
So that's $12,000 I still have in my bank on my 7% loan.
Right.
What could I do with that $12,000 instead of using it for closing costs?
I could invest it.
You could invest it. You could invest it where? And get 600% return on it.
In my payment.
Oh Lord. Can we go down cumulative principal to $12,000?
Yes.
Let's go down. That's 1 year. That's 2 years. That's 3 years. That's 4 years. That's 4 years and 3 months. That's 51 payments you've just taken off with that 12 grand that you didn't have to spend on closing costs.
That wouldn't be a down payment.
No, that's a prepayment. After the loan closes, you can put that money on principal.
And when I make my payment, because it asks, do you want to apply this towards principal, interest, escrow?
Yep.
They ask that when I'm making my payment.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, I want to make this payment towards principal. They would have to understand what that means.
Yes, they would have to. So you have to make a full mortgage payment first.
Make my mortgage payment first.
And then give them the 12 grand.
Then separately give them the 12 grand.
Yeah, you could give it to them on the same day if you want.
But I just need to tell them what to do, where to put my money though. Because if I give it, they'll do what they want to do with it. But if I, it's like with our life insurance policy, right? I can tell them, hey, listen, this goes towards my interest or my cash value, or this goes towards my principal. You know, I can tell my life insurance policy where to put the money.
Exactly. Now, if you escrow, if you have included your taxes and insurance with your payment, most banks default to putting money in the escrow account if you don't give in any instructions. But if you're paying taxes and insurance on your own, there is no escrow account. There's only one place that money can go. It can only go to principal. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you very well, because I like paying my insurance up for the year.
There you go. So I like doing that on my own if I can. And there are some tricks we can use by using your credit card to pay insurance and taxes. I'm sorry?
I said, because I get my cash back.
You get cash back, or you get points, or whatever.
I do get a lot of points and a lot of cash back. Yep.
Ooh, watch that. Okay. So now, so this is why I don't let them buy that down for me, because I want to use that money for something else. Now I want to show you something. If I prepay the $12,000, look immediately to the right of the $12,000. How much interest did I just save in 1 month?
Immediately to the right. That's
To the-
72,000.
Yep.
72,000.
That's interest you'll never have to pay.
$72,985.73.
Because if you paid it the bank's way, by the time you paid the loan down by $12,000, it would take 51 payments and 72,900 of your dollars to get you there.
So this is all about the art of the deal. This is how the deal is structured.
How it's structured and how to learn how to read an amortization schedule to keep from losing money. We've never been taught how to read this. Ever.
Not life. This is my first time ever even looking at this like this.
And there's a reason why we haven't learned how to do that. Would you like to know the reason?
I absolutely would.
Okay. How many mortgages have you ever had that within 2 weeks after closing was sold?
No, just all of them.
Yes. It was sold to an investor.
Oh my God. So they just, okay. Okay. So the bank comes out like a loan shark offering the bait. I take the bait. They just sell the loan anyway and get all their money, kind of like a car dealer, right? They get the car, sell the car to me, retail. They bought it wholesale, and they get their little check, and the lender gives them the check, and then I start making the payment. The lender just sells it to somebody else.
There you go.
Wow.
And here's the thing. When you do the research on mortgage-backed securities, okay, people who invest in mortgages, they're most afraid of one thing, and it's not default.
I was about to say default on the loan. What is it, me dying? What?
Not getting all the interest they're looking for.
Oh, because that's why they invested in the first place.
Exactly.
They not know this information, because if I knew this information, they wouldn't be getting any. They would have got.
Yep. So if you are, that's why I brought up earlier, if you are selling this as a seller finance deal, and in 51 months, they have given you $85,000, and out of that $85,000, only $12,000 went to pay down the loan, you'd be feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
But if they gave you the $12,000 up front, you say, doggone it. They watched Don Daniel on his P.I.L.L method show. They just got me for 72 grand.
Wow. This is actually, while liberating, it's kind of scary when you think about it, because I mean, mortgage means death, right? Mortuary, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah. We're literally like, because, you know, some people are living check to check, client to client. Like, even if you have a business, you're living client to client. Like, if one client doesn't pay you, like, you could be at loss, right?
Right.
So it's like, this is where all your money is going, because shelter, transportation, and obviously care or child support or something like that, or student loans are going to be our highest payment.
Yeah.
And if we can find ways to minimize this, you know, outside of taxes, right, which I don't even want to talk about, but if we could find ways to get this in order, then that would put us back in position to get all the other things in order.
Now, I will tell you before you go, there is, we have an AI system, an AI cloud-based computing system that does all of the math, that tracks all of your real estate, that tracks all of your payments, that tracks all of your income, that tracks all of your expenditures, and tells you exactly how much to pay and when, so you can optimize the amount of interest that you'll save. And
how do I get it? You don't have to sell me on nothing. How do I get it? I've been throwing millions away to these people. How do I get it? What do I do?
Go to ice10k.com. Let me put it on the screen for you. Okay.
Okay.
ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. It will take you here. And underneath E.T., okay, Eric Thomas, who used the P.I.L.L method to pay off his mortgage early. Okay. Scroll down underneath his picture and click on the button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. You can get that for free.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
This is your 10K card? Yep. ICE10K?
ICE10k.com.
Lord have mercy.
Okay. And when you scroll down underneath his picture, click that button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. It'll take you to this page, and it says, Don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report. Fill out part 1. That will let you into part 2. You put in your financial data. My team will get that. They'll give you a call, confirm your data, and produce for you a savings and earnings report telling you how much interest you are losing, how much interest we're going to save you, and when you can be out of debt. If your goal is not to be out of debt, but how can I get my equity 5 to 7 times faster, cash out refi 10 to 15 years sooner at a much cheaper interest cost, that may be what you're looking for.
Okay.
If you can cash out sooner, you can redeploy that money much sooner and make more money with it, because now you're not waiting so long to redeploy that money. Most of our clients can pay off all of their debt, their mortgage, their student loans, their credit cards, everything in about 7 years.
Okay.
What if you could gain the amount of equity that you wanted to have in one of your properties in 3 or 4 years instead of 15 years, and refinance after that at a much lower cost?
Yes.
Would you like to be able to do that and would not get in the way of you investing in other properties along the way?
Yes.
There you go. We'll show you how to do all of that.
Okay. Yeah, I just signed up, and then I gotta go in here. I gotta get my statements. I have to. I have them downloaded already.
Yeah. So let me tell you something. If you just get started on this, just ask for me, Don Daniel. All right, when you call in, okay?
Okay.
And we will help you run the numbers so that you can set up these mortgages to benefit you instead of the bank.
Got it.
Okay?
I'm so excited. Thank you. I will be in communication. I've already filled out the form. You guys sent me an email already. It's already worked. So I just stated, and I will talk to you soon. And I can get your information from my big brother, Sean.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
my
yes.
little brother, Sean.
Yeah, you can give out all my information from there. So my phone number is on there. Everything. Okay. You got everything about me there. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm really excited. Thank you for today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Dr. O. Jonathan Bing is in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Bing, what's going on, my brother? He's probably sitting at his desk working really hard. Okay. Just listening in. I see you down there, Martina. I see you. Kenny. Come on. Listen, all you guys just heard how we're losing a ton of money, how we can save that money instead of giving it to the bank. What's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? What do you want to do? How do you want this to go? So does anybody else have anything they want to say about how much money they're losing and how much money they would like to save? Huh? How about it? What do you got to say? Raise your hand. Come on up to the stage. Ask your questions. Let me take a look. So I see a question here. Once they close on the mortgage, you have some time before your first payment is due. In the interim, you can make a principal payment before the first payment. You are exactly right. Guess what happens? Because when you first close, all right, and let's say you don't owe a payment for this month, you owe a payment next month. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not free. You're being charged interest that whole time. Ask Jonathan. It ain't free. You think you have a month off. No, they're actually charging you interest during that time, daily interest. There's 2 times you're charged daily interest on a mortgage: when you close and when you call to get a payoff. Those 2 times are when you pay daily. They calculate your daily interest. Otherwise, they don't really calculate daily interest, because if you're ever late on your mortgage, they just charge you a flat fee. Okay? Whether you're 1 day late or 14 days late, it doesn't matter. You're going to get charged a flat fee, not daily interest. But the only 2 times you charge daily interest is right after you close, up to the time you make your first payment. And if you want to pay off the loan early and you call them and say, what is my payoff? I want to pay this loan off. And they'll say, you have, here is your payoff. And that payoff is good, let's say, to the 17th or the 20th of the month. They say, this payoff is good to the 20th of the month. After that, they have to add on additional interest. Are you hearing me, ladies and gentlemen? There's only 2 times on a mortgage you're charged daily interest. But yes, in answer to your question, Sobi, that's exactly right. You can pay that to eliminate some of that interest. Okay? So, folks, what we're doing here is showing you what is going on with these mortgages. All right? Here's another situation where, let's see here, where ZN, all right, in 35 months, paid this loan down by $16,000, and it costs $26,000 in interest lost. Interest being lost, 26 grand. The bank wants on top of the 26 grand they've already paid, another $435,000. What? Yeah. But by working with us, they're only going to pay $98,000 instead of the $435,000 the bank wants. What? Yeah, that's how we do this. That's how we do this. See, the bank wants them to pay off their $510,000 that they owe and pay an additional $435,000 in interest. But working with us, they're only going to pay $98,000. Okay. They're going to save over $340,000 in interest they never have to pay, and pay everything off in 6.5 years. How about that? That part is what we're talking about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, is there it? Listen, I can't get any fire emojis. I can't get any happy faces. Listen, I can't get anything in the chat. I can't even get an amen. Something's up with that. We're talking about not losing money. Stop losing money. Stop losing money. Stop losing money. Stop losing money. You don't have to. All right. You don't have to anymore. Okay. The way the system is set up for us to lose money. A lot of it. Just listen, I'm not talking about people who are struggling to make their mortgage payment, struggling to make their car payment and their credit card payments. No, I'm talking about people who live very, very well. The average family pays 13 different debts. The average family pays 35 to 39% of their income to interest alone. We're talking about cutting interest costs by 75 to 80%. With your current income, how to do that to stop losing money. Okay. So what we got here? A.B. Tay, it says here, the information is so pertinent. It has, he has been intensively listening. Listen, folks, there's so much free content that we have on our YouTube channel. Sign up for the YouTube channel. All right. If you like you may want to watch some of the shorter videos. All right. Just click on videos. Those videos are no longer than 10 minutes long. We have our staff who've edited the videos to a question and an answer, and we show you the numbers. You see, you can't get this unless somebody shows you the numbers. This is why it's not taught in school. It's not taught in high school. It's not taught in undergrad. It's not how an amortization schedule actually works, how we can save money. It's not even taught in grad school, in business school, even if you're a CPA, it's not taught. Why? Because these loans have to look attractive to the investors, and the investors are really, really afraid of prepayment. They're more afraid of prepayment than they are of default, especially since most of the loans out there have mortgage insurance. Why would they ever be afraid of default? Oh my goodness. So that's why they're more afraid of prepayment, because they want you to think that because you got a low interest rate, you don't have to do anything else but make every single payment. Okay. Are you hearing me? Okay. I see somebody's hand up. Tamara, come on up. Hey, Ellis, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Don?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much. All right, try to get Tamara raise her hand. All right. So Ellis, do you have any there she is. There she is. Did you have any input? You came to the stage. Do you have any input or questions or pearls? Listen, you always have pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, I was going to kind of go contrary to the default versus prepaid, because the way that banking works is if you have a loan that goes in default, it reduces your ability to loan more money. So that's why they don't like the defaults.
Okay. All right. Well, you're right. You're right. You're right. I'm just I'm not saying they want a default, but you are right. You are so right. Okay, folks. But I'm telling you, the investors are really afraid of prepayment. So this is why understanding prepayment is misunderstood practically everywhere. All right. Tamara, how are you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. And am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, and thank you for asking. I'm new to Clubhouse and how it works, so bear with me. I just want to say that I am so grateful to for the information that you're giving to this group. I came across it through I came across this space through MIT. Just happened to jump on, different meetings, and I keyed into what you were saying, because who doesn't want to save money? I signed up for your free report. I verified the data with someone from your team. I got that report last night.
Really?
And when I say I did, when you have numbers in front of you, it's so sobering. That changed my life. Not without even signing up with you, without buying into your program, which I definitely will, without doing any of the active steps.
I lost you, Tamara. Tamara, what happened to you? We lost you without doing anything.
Can you hear? Are you?
You said without doing without doing any of the
without doing any of the right, just having the report and seeing the numbers on paper, seeing my life on paper, what I signed up for, all the agreements I have with all of these creditors, and what that money looks like to them, and then what my money looks like to me, and then seeing the potential for what I can do with the money that I save by not paying interest. It's just, I'm embarrassed almost. I am an attorney and have been for decades. It means nothing if you don't have the info.
Yeah. Yeah. It means nothing. So what we're looking at is, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
You have a mortgage, or you're getting a mortgage? Tell me a little bit about your situation, if you don't mind.
No, no problem. So I have the typical, I heard somewhere someone has 13 accounts. I actually did a spreadsheet for myself. That's probably about right. I have a typical student loan debt, and $250,000 there.
Mm-hmm.
A mortgage of $375.
Mm-hmm.
I make six figures. It doesn't really matter. It's still paycheck to paycheck. So
Yep.
that's nothing to brag about. But
Mm-hmm.
then, just personal loans, credit cards, just regular stuff that I use in my everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
and am going to have to pay back because I signed up for all of this debt that doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want debt that works for me.
Okay.
I want wealth generating debt. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. There you go. Listen, we're all about leveraging here. Okay.
Yeah. But you want to fire emojis, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm actually going through this in real time. And when you know better, you do better.
Okay.
I'm so like my kids and grandkids.
We lost you again. We lost you.
That's okay. Okay.
Your kids and your
Here it
grandkids.
is.
Your kids and your grandkids.
My kids and grandkids are going to thank you because of the information I now have. So
wow.
thank you.
Okay.
I had to tell you personally. I couldn't reduce it.
All right. Well, when you were talking, I looked up some of your information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share with you that I gave my book to someone you may have heard of while I was on an airplane flying back from Dominican Republic. And guess who was on the plane? It was your former governor, Christie.
How about that?
And
how about that?
And I gave him one of my books.
Right, because we could all say that. Like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, or where you are,
yes.
or who you work for. I work for the Attorney General's office. Like I am directly affected by what happened. Like it doesn't matter. I didn't know it. I didn't know the info. That's the point.
Wow.
Didn't know it. And now that I know it, I can change my life. So thank you for that.
Good. Have you been watching our videos at all?
No, I haven't. So I've gotten on like 3 of these, but now that I heard you talk about the videos, I'm doing all of that. Everything you suggested, I'm going to do.
Well, we are excited to have your information. We're excited to see where it can take you. But what we're going to be sharing with you, I'm going to give you a little something up front. Whatever we told you, we're probably going to increase your benefits by another 10 to 17% because of plugging everything into an active program, which is dynamic. It's not a spreadsheet.
Okay.
It's an active program that says, this is what you're doing today. This is what you're doing this month. And because of the live data that the program is receiving from you, it's constantly tweaking what you can do to help yourself.
Love it.
And you're going to be able to do that with your current budget, and you won't have to sacrifice lifestyle, because there are other people out there that says, listen, you got to work an extra job. You got to pay, it's going to cost you a lot of money to get out of debt. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You got to drive a 30-year-old car and eat beans and rice. No, you do not. You can use your current budget to learn how to pay less interest. The way to handle to mitigate debt is to pay less interest. You don't need more money to do that. You can do that with your current budget. So if you're paying less interest with your current budget, that means more of the money you're already making goes to where it's supposed to go to pay down the principal and be done in an average of 7 to 9 years. Did we give you, did one of my assistants tell you when you can have all that debt paid off? And you don't have to share it if you don't want to.
No, that's fine. Mine said 9.5 years. Like I'm only 2.5 years into my mortgage.
So you have 27 plus years left on your mortgage, and you can pay it off when? In about
In 9.5 years.
9.5
With my little tight budget, like you just said.
with your
right?
little tight
That part.
budget. Okay, that
My
part.
existing tight budget. Right. That, I'm going to generate more money.
Mhm.
I have things in the works, but with the current income that I can rely on. Absolutely.
Wow. How did you know I was going to be on how did you know I was going to be on today?
I get some kind of notification on my phone.
Okay.
And so I just pop on the meeting.
Wow. Listen, we love to hear these stories. We absolutely love to hear these stories. So
yeah. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Because you already have an appointment with me?
I do. We have an appointment for, I want to say 8 or 8:30 on Thursday. It's on my calendar in front of me. I'm trying to be organized. 8 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay, is that AM or PM?
This Thursday. That's PM Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, great. So we're going to be talking. We're going to get more information to you, and we're going to love working with you because you coaching.
And I with you.
Coaching comes with the program.
Yeah, listen, you don't like the Dr. O, you don't have to sell me. I'm already sold. I'm just giving you your flowers right now so other people can join. Really, this is quid pro quo at this point.
Wow.
So thank you.
Wow. Listen, go ahead and go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and then sign up to become an affiliate. And it's free. And as you're sharing this information, that people become clients, we pay you.
Listen, So no, I mean, I'm so excited. Just like Nicola before says, like, I'm really excited. But seriously, for you to just, whatever, you being moved enough to share this kind of invaluable information with people, transformative, that like, I can't even say enough. So I really, really, really appreciate what you are doing.
Tamara,
so thank you again.
You are so welcome, Tamara. Thank you for coming to the stage and sharing that. You have made my day.
Oh, I'm so glad for that. And I look forward to talking to you on Thursday.
I look forward to talking to you as well. And guess who else we have on the stage, ladies and gentlemen? We have credit goddess Rosa Lewis. What's going on, Rose? Rose, are you there?
Hey, Don.
It's been a while, girl.
I know.
Did you put me down? Did I say something bad?
No, you did not. No, you did not. If you didn't know, I became a managing partner with P.I.L.L Funding, where we do syndicated line of credit. So that's a major position where I'm coaching other affiliate or referral partners of mine that comes in. It's a whole lot. So we're helping business owners get in the best position for funding. I always say this on stage, on your stage. Yeah. So I've been offered a position to be the managing partner. So I'm up there with the CEO in that company.
Yes.
And we're helping business owners get funding for their business. So I definitely need to get you in, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks that get access to business credit cards, do you know over 85% of them default?
Really?
On there? Yes. Those 0% interest, $250,000, business credit cards that you're hearing all over the internet. It's easy if you have really good credit, 680 and above. But here's the thing: if they're misusing it or improperly using the credit, over leveraging, and even missing a date, like on business credit cards, you cannot be a day late. On the personal side, if you're 30 days late, it will report on your credit. But these business credit cards, they do not report on your business, on your personal credit report. But once you are a day late, it appears on your personal credit report.
What?
It would affect your... Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes,
wow.
It does. And here's the thing. Here's another thing.
Yeah.
If you're a day late on your business credit report, then it reports on your personal. Guess what? That 0% is now snatched away. You now have to pay the interest on that. So if you're a real estate investor and you pulled funds whether you liquidated it or you maxed it out, 3% of your balance or what you've used is your minimum payment. But imagine you were comfortable with that 3% at 0% interest, right?
Yep.
And then the interest kick in. Now you're paying 6%, and you don't have the funds,
Wow.
right? You don't have any funds. You don't have any money preserved to make those monthly payments until your deal closes, or you exit out of the loan or the strategy or whatever that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot make those payments, now that business credit report not only reporting on your credit, but now is on default, and you are personally liable for it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So listen.
Yeah.
Listen, Rose. We have to talk about this. All right. Hold on for just a second. All right, because I've got somebody on right now that we're going to be working with in the very near future. Hold on for a second. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm actually live right now on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I had to text. I'm working with a lady in the UK. And
Yeah.
she's off today, wondering if she would be able to get in because she's got some questions.
Listen.
I thought I would ask.
Well, we're going to be talking a little later. I wanted to formally announce that we're going to be working together. Can I announce it right now?
Sure.
Okay, folks, this is Christie Vann. All right, you want to take a look. Her YouTube channel is Vantastic, and she talks about how to do what is it, the term? Velocity banking. Okay. We're going to be combining efforts with the P.I.L.L method and velocity banking we're all going to take ourselves to the very next level. So Christie, I can definitely help your person today.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Sweet.
So I'll send you her information.
Okay, send me her information. We'll get on that. And listen, folks, go by Christie's website, her YouTube channel, Vantastic, and she has 275, 280,000 followers. 377,000 followers, and we're going to be working together with her starting in earnest next week. So, Christie, thank you very much for calling today.
You're welcome. Thank you, and I appreciate you working with her.
Not a problem. Send me the information. We'll get it done.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So, folks, listen. The P.I.L.L method is gaining traction, and we are getting the attention of other influencers, and we're helping their clients save more money. Because listen, we're losing money because we don't understand how an amortization schedule works. And Christie Vann reached out to us and said, listen, can you help my clients? And we said, yes, we can. So this is great stuff. So look her up and check out her 377,000 followers on YouTube. And we are now going to join forces and work together. How about that? All right. So Credit Goddess, back to you. Okay. Do you mind talking to us a little bit about what this is that you're doing? I know you're busy, but since you're here, let's talk about the business credit that you're helping to offer to people. How can they get a hold of you? What do they need to do? And what is the best way to keep from being late on your payments?
Oh, listen, that question right there. Listen, we cannot just don't overextend yourself. Plan properly.
Yeah.
I always say credit in the plan. That's my hashtag that I say on everything. Because when you're using credit, kind of look at it as deferred payment, right?
Right.
It's not money. You do have to pay it back, You're just delaying the payment to pay back later. So you want to make sure that you have planned properly that you're able to pay back later. This is how we can prevent being late on our credit card or anything that you're doing. Just don't over plan, don't use more than what you can afford. And that's the negative connotation that everyone has when it comes to credit. But credit does not put you in debt. You did. Okay.
Come on. Well, listen, one more time for the people in the back.
Credit does not put you in debt. You did. Okay. You did.
I love
We're going to just be quite frank. Yes, please.
I love it. So
credit is a tool and we're just misusing it. So, it comes with planning. We have to plan properly, making sure that, what we're putting on delays, we're able to pay it back. If we have to put a plan together, especially using your P.I.L.L method so we can save, because that's another thing that people have to say about credit is, I don't want to pay 24% interest on something that I could have just paid cash with. Yes, you can avoid the interest. Yes, you can. If you pay it before the billing cycle closes, before a report, you can definitely pay it down. And if you have a large sum amount of balances that you're trying to pay off, and you do the avalanche. I like using the avalanche because I'm all about saving money. And some people use the snowball because, they get their fuel of feeling as though that they paid off something. Depending on which personality you are, whether you want to feel like you've accomplished something, go to snowball effect. If you're all about saving money, go to avalanche. But definitely learn the P.I.L.L method because we're talking about saving money over time.
Yes.
What's the saying that you say? How about we use the bank instead of the bank using us?
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, we've done several shows on how the P.I.L.L method. Now, the avalanche method works. The snowball method works. But what they don't do is they don't track how much interest you're actually paying and how you can save interest and how much you could save. So the P.I.L.L method is actually more powerful than the snowball method and the avalanche methods combined. So if you don't know us, choose one, okay? But if you know us, listen, we're going to show you the difference between all three, and the P.I.L.L method is going to win hands down because we have an AI system that does all of the math that tells you exactly what to do and when. All right?
Absolutely.
So it's going to be great stuff. So let me ask you something, Credit Goddess. Is it possible that if I get this business credit card, can I set it up on auto pay?
Yes, you can.
To pay the minimum balance?
You can pay the minimum balance. That is how you avoid being late. Yes, absolutely.
So people don't have to be late. They're just not taking advantage of all the tools.
Exactly.
Lord have mercy.
And you know what? I also hear when I say, hey, you do the auto pay.
Yeah.
I will hear the pushback. They'll say, well, I don't want the bank to just, take money out of my account without me. Really? Wow. Okay. Listen, I don't know what to say after that.
Oh, my goodness. Folks, let me tell you something. I am busy. Okay. Listen, we have clients all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. My business is international. I'm on the phone all the time. If I had to remember to pay my bills, Lord have mercy. I would forget all the time. Everything I have is auto pay. Everything I have is auto pay.
Right.
Everything.
Same here.
Even my electricity is auto pay. Are you hearing me? Okay.
Absolutely.
Everything, my TV, my insurance, everything is auto pay. It is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, let me tell you something about auto pay. It is not my bank that sends out the payments. My bank does not send out the payments, because if your bank is sending out the payments and you're late, it's your fault. Are you hearing me? If your bank is sending the payments to a vendor and it's late, it's your fault. You get the penalties. But if you look to your vendor and say, listen, I'm signing up with you so that you can pull the money. If it's late, now it's the vendor's fault and it's off of you. Credit Goddess, did I tell them right?
You did. Absolutely.
Okay. So my bank is not in charge of making my payments for me. I will go to Visa and say, Visa, whatever I owe you, you pull it out of there. Make sure that I'm signing up for just the minimum payments. Okay. And then when I'm ready to pay it off, I do. Now, why would I, who is, the P.I.L.L method, why would we ever talk about minimum payments? There is a strategy to just paying minimum payments that we could talk about. But I want, before Rose gets out of here, because I know she's busy, tell us what's going on with this and how can we take advantage of it. And then I'll talk about why I pay minimum payments on credit cards. Come on, Rose.
Well, you know what? Let me answer the question that you asked before. How you guys can reach me. You can reach me on Instagram and also Facebook at Your Credit Goddess. You can follow me there. I am going to be launching my group where you guys can learn credit on your own. I don't want to talk about how the credit industry changed, but that's another topic. But yes, they do want us to educate you guys. Don't seek service. I know a lot of times you guys overlook the services and you guys can, do it yourself. And I empower you and I encourage you to do it yourself. It's not much that we can do. Credit repair companies or credit coaching that we can do now. Credit coaching is needed, but you still have to do the work because your scores, just like a GPA, you go to class, you do the work, you pass the test, you get a good grade, and your GPA increases. It's the same concept when it comes to credit. You just have to know what type of accounts that you need to apply for, how to optimize your credit profile, and then you need to stick to it, stick to the game. Because what I do at P.I.L.L Funding as a managing partner, we help business owners get access to funding. And now we call this syndicated line of credit. I know you guys hear about business lines of credit. Now, if you guys want to tap into business lines of credit, and let's say you are pre-revenue, meaning you are not making any money in your business, but you need funding. A lot of times we look for grants. A lot of times we look for, someone to invest in our business. And if you prefer to just invest yourself so you can keep all the equity, that's great. You can leverage your personal credit to get business credit. It doesn't matter if it's 1 day old, 10 years old. If you have good personal credit and you have applied your credit worthiness to your credit profile, you can actually leverage that to get access to business credit cards up to $250,000, right? Stated income, you guys. You don't have to provide any bank statements. You don't have to provide any tax paperwork. It's stated income and your great credit profile. This is what we call syndicated line of credit. Syndicated line of credit, meaning that we go to different banks and different creditors and get you access, and we advocate for you to get you access to business credit cards. Chase is very generous. I think the most that we've gotten for a client, because we go for 4 to 6 cards at a time to get you to $250,000. It's not $250,000 all at one time. It's multiple credit cards accruing up to $250,000. The most that I've seen is $100,000 from Chase. And Chase has a particular industry that they favor. Housing, if you have a courier service, if you're doing housing, they love this type of industry. So if you are in that industry, they're giving anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000, and this is just one credit card, right? So that's what we do. So this is syndicated line of credit. You don't have to do the tier 1, tier 2. You don't have to do the whole business setup. Of course, you need to have a registered LLC, an EIN, right? And that's it. It's that simple, you guys. But here's the thing, and this is the reason why I educate people, because I'm not the type of person that will get you the funding and I'm not going to educate you on how to manage it, right? Because that's the most important thing, how to manage it and also how to use it. You want to use it for income producing activities, right? You don't want to use this to decorate your office. Because let me tell you, a client can care less about your decorations. They want to know, how can you help solve my problem?
Right.
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 So marketing is very, very important. Customer acquisition is very important. Like Don here, this is his business, P.I.L.L method, and he's using platforms to acquire clients. A lot of times we're not focusing on customer acquisition. How are you acquiring your clients? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you acquiring your clients? And marketing is one of the biggest budgets. You have to market your business. But I'm gonna leave it right there. I don't want to take up your session, but this is the importance of funding, so you can grow and scale your business, and customer acquisition, marketing, things like that is very important. If you're wondering, what can I use credit for? You can use it for payroll. You can use it for inventory. You can use it for marketing. Anything for your business, income producing.
So if we need a line of credit, all right. Now, so I'm going to be working with Christie Vann here. All right. She's actually listening. I hope she can come on if she has time. I just sent her a link, but maybe because she's extremely busy. She talks about getting a line of credit to help to deal with understanding how to save interest on other loans. So if a person has a business, they can get a line of credit and probably use a combination of the P.I.L.L method and what Christie Vann is talking about.
Yes. I encourage you guys to use the P.I.L.L method. The reason why I encourage you guys, because, now I'm on the other side of the spectrum with what you're talking about. You're helping people get out of the fire.
Yes.
I'm helping people prevent to go into the fire, right?
Come on.
So I don't want anyone to feel, because this is what happens when people get burned, especially when they misuse credit.
Right.
They come to me, fix their credit, and then they say they don't ever want to touch another credit card again.
Right.
But let me tell you guys, 30% of your credit score, your personal credit score, is credit cards. That's the only category that calculates in that 30%, and that's 165 points. So you can say, I don't want to touch credit anymore, but then you're going to find yourself in the low, high 500s, mid 600s. But if you're trying to hit that, 700, 800 level, you need to have credit cards. You do. And I don't want this experience, the bad experience, to prevent you not going in. So this is the reason why I educate. So that way, once you use it properly, you know how to maintain it. Then it wouldn't affect you so badly because of the misuse of it or just not being educated. So the P.I.L.L method helps you, not only helps you in saving money, but then you also know how to deploy, like where the funds will go, and the importance of using the tool properly and saving money at the same time. Those two things apply.
Wow.
And it's not just credit cards, it's student loans, it's your mortgage and everything. This type of education, and I know a lot of people shy away from math, but let me tell you, y'all got to get in with the math. get in with the calculations. And that's what I love about P.I.L.L method. And the fact that it's AI, you don't have to figure it out. Just plug in the numbers, plug and play, and you're good to go.
Wow.
You need this in your life. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. So listen, we're going to be touching base later. Folks, get with Credit Goddess. She's accepting referral partners right now. And I have Christie Vann backstage, and we're going to bring her on in just a minute here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be talking about how the P.I.L.L method and how we can use, this banking system that she talks about, that she is gained international prominence with her clients. I want to bring her on so that she could talk to you about what she does. So, Miss Christie Vann, how are you doing this morning? We have you on.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and see you.
Okay, so for some reason I'm getting feedback. It's giving me both
so do you
delayed and what we're talking about. So it's very hard to hear.
On your computer.
What's up with that?
Well, you're on your computer, find where you have YouTube and then turn that off.
Oh, find why I reviewed. You're so smart. Oh my God. Duh.
Because I've done that before.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, what is happening? Okay.
I,
So,
I, I made
yeah,
the same mistake. Christy, how are you doing today?
I am super excellent. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in here. I was listening to the lady talk, and she is making so much sense. I
So,
love to hear new information.
Christy, tell us who you are and what it is that what you do and how you've been able to help a lot of people over a relatively short period of time, if you would please.
Okay, so back in 2023, I started the channel Fantastic in February. The reason was because I had learned a decade before how to handle my finances, and I got a feeling that people just didn't know. You know, I kept having this impression that I needed to talk to people about it, what I do financially, which is velocity banking. That's just a term. It's basically just learning how to use the bank, because we're not taught that at all. And so that's what I do now is teach people how to use the bank in a way that's serving your income instead of you serving the banks with your income, because we get to feeling like we're servants. You know, the Bible even tells us to not have loans and, you know, owe people, because we're going to take a servant position where if we don't work, we don't pay our bills, then guess what? They're going to take our things. So
Exactly.
the point is to get out of debt, and that's where I am today. And you know, the Lord has really had favor over the channel. He has really pushed it out to where so many people all over the world are finding out about how a different way to do their banking. And you know, people like you that come in with the system, to especially, you know, everyone. I found that what you do, and it's just a much needed service. And I've really come to understand what the program does and how it helps everybody, you know, everybody from your paycheck to paycheck, and you make, you know, $2,600 a month, or you're, you know, you have plenty in savings, but you still are loaded with debt. I mean, the spectrum, and I don't even care if you make 50,000 a month, the spectrum is very broad,
Mhm.
and so many people need help. So I appreciate you for what you do.
Well, listen, thank you so much for that, Christy. But here's the thing: you have been doing this a while, and helping a lot of people. But once you found out about this AI system, this cloud-based computer program, what made you say what I do and what the pill method does, how I can combine these two? What about what we do helps your clients do what they do better?
Wow. Okay. So, a lot of times I have people that they have very low credit scores. They have very high DTI. They're self employed and they can't verify their income. These people are the very first priority that I send, you know, this way to the AI, like you said, this awesome, I'm going to say awesome, nothing beats it for debt elimination system. Okay. So the point is that you guys are the hope where there is no hope.
Wow.
Yeah, there is no hope for a lot of people. I actually sent a couple last night over, and the point was is they're, you know, retired military,
Mm-hmm.
cannot get a line of credit because they have, you know, low income, 2,600 a month, and they have high rent, which was 1440.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. That's, you know, over half of what they make going just to rent. And then they have to live and they have a child. So I don't know how people are making it. And if it wasn't for this system, who can take somebody that's even sometimes in a negative cash flow, depending upon how you're paid, and turn it into beautiful. There's nothing that works that good. A line of credit works if you can get one. If you can't, you're stuck. And
Yes.
you have to go get another job. You have to do the Dave Ramsey.
But listen, folks, I want you to listen to this, because if you have, this is now, how can the P.I.L.L method help anybody in a negative cash flow situation? I'm going to give you a couple of instances. Now, if you are paid bi-weekly or weekly, then your average pay over a certain period of time will put you in a positive cash flow. All right. The other thing that people are doing that makes them feel paycheck to paycheck is this. They may have more than one credit card, and because somebody told them they need to pay more than the minimum on their credit cards, they pay more than the minimum on all of them and leave themselves with no cash. Okay. Right. So there's a couple of things that we can do that it may look like you are negative cash flow, but what you really need is a cash management system that says, this is how much you make, this is how much you need to live, and this is what you can do with the extra. And people are saying, I don't have extra, but once we start working with them, they say, oh my gosh, I had extra all the time and I didn't even realize it. It was right there in front of me. So when we put all these things together, ladies and gentlemen, and then the program says, take any extra that you have and says, put it in savings. It builds up to a certain point, and then the program says, take some money out of savings. Now, here's the thing. Well, Don, I don't want to deplete all my savings. Then you need to understand what leverage means. Leverage means what's the least amount of money we can use to maximize interest savings. So anything that you've done in life, even when you go to the grocery store, what is the least amount of money I can spend to walk out of the store with the most groceries? What is the least amount of money I can spend and have gasoline for my car all month long? Getting out of debt is the same way. What is the least amount of money I can put on my debt at any given time to maximize interest savings? You see, we turn it all the way around. And I can mention Mr. Dave Ramsey on my show because he mentioned me on his show. And turnabout is fair play. Yeah. So you do not want to take all of your money and throw it at the debt and tell your kids, listen, we can't go to ballet. We can't do piano lessons. We can't do travel football or soccer. We can't do any of that because we're too busy throwing all of our money at the debt. Wrong thing to do. You want to put the right amount of money on the right debt in the right month, on the right day of the month, and grow your savings all at the same time. You're cutting out all of that interest and eliminating your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. That's what this program will do for you. All right. Instead of you just guessing what to do. Have your clients found that to be true, Christie?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have so many great results from what this system is doing to help people. Like I said, I don't know what I would be doing with the people that, can't get the lines of credit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can sit here and wish all you want, but if you don't have what the bank is requiring for you to have in credit, you can forget it. You're at their mercy.
Wow.
The P.I.L.L method, the system completely takes that power away from the bank and says, hey, we can get you out of debt and faster than using a line of credit. From my experience, using a line of credit, I'll always have a line of credit as long as the banks will allow us to have them, because they are that call it a security blanket in the event you have an emergency arise. You need cash today. then draw it out, take it from your line of credit. But that just sits on the side for me. When we're talking about debt elimination, you're talking about this system that in the event you need to use some of the money from your emergency fund, which doesn't have to be a year of savings, it can be a line of credit sitting on the side, 10, 15, 20,000, whatever. Mine's 100. I have others. I keep several. So the point being that yes, you can do debt elimination, leaving that on the side for when the emergencies come up, when those life events happen, because they're going to happen. You know, we're going to have the rainy day that you don't have to have a year of your income saved in some savings account that the bank is only using to benefit themselves. Come on, let's get real. When we're talking about a savings account, does a bank have a savings account? No, they don't have a savings account. Come on, people. That is for us. That is for us. And the reason is because, hey, let's set up 401ks and let's throw all of our money into that we can. And yeah, we're going to get that employee match. But guess what? You can't touch it until you're 59 and a half. Oh, you can take a basic $50,000 loan if you have over 100,000 in it. But guess what? Who needs that? We need money now. We need access to our income now. And when we have it in a place, and you know, I use infinite banking concept for my savings account so that I have access to it and it's growing at compound interest. So the fact is let's start letting our income work for us. And if you have a line of credit that you're trying to work off your debt with, great, it will work eventually. But if you're using this system with the line or without a line, you're going to beat a line by 2 years every time. So wow. I tell people you have an option, you know, work with the line of credit. It will work. Work with this system and it's going to beat a line by 2 years. Every time. I've not seen it, you know, I'll send people out for a personal analysis. I'll say, hey, you have a 9-year payoff. The analysis will come back 7 every day. So the fact is that if there's something out there that's saving the American public and international, I mean, that's beautiful. I just learned about that recently. Why wouldn't I give people that option? I don't care. I'm not making any money off of you using your line of credit. So it's like, why wouldn't I say, yes, try this option, you know, get the free personal analysis. They're going to show you what it looks like for you before you ever step into buying something. I'm not a salesman and I don't like salesmen. So if I run into a salesman that I feel like is pressuring me into something, it makes me angry and I'll back away just because of their attitude. That's unfortunate because you guys have an awesome system here. This is something that I have seen work hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, as I have probably 400 plus people in it right now. Wow. And they're all working it and they're all getting help. But if you don't know about it, it's of no use to you. Or if you feel like you've been pressured into something that you don't know how to use, that's just crazy. So I always tell my people, do not buy anything until you know that you know that you know that you're going to use it and it's going to work for you. And that's why I appreciate these free analysis, and your coaching is unbelievable. The way you really take the time to make sure that each person understands what they're doing with their system. I just think that's beautiful, and I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you for that, Christie. I want to show you something that Christie just talked about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put this on the screen, okay? And here we go. All right. So here is a mortgage right now at $251,000 at 7%. Now, there are folks out there that will say, you know, you need to have 6 months to a year of finances sitting in the bank, doing nothing, making 1/10 of 1%, just in case you have an emergency. Now, I'm going to change this because I was talking to a young man at the bank not too long ago. All right. And this is when you could still get a 4% mortgage. His mortgage was $400,000. So I'm going to put it in here, 400,000. And he worked at the bank. Okay. His interest rate's 4%, 30-year loan. There you go. There it is. So payment is $1909.66. This is how he could comfortably make his mortgage payment, no problem. He has $36,000 sitting in a bank account, making 0.1%, or maybe a little more. All right, because he works at the bank. I said to him, what if you took that $36,000 and placed it on this mortgage? Let me show you what happens. You have principal up here, you got interest, you got cumulative principal and cumulative interest. If he places $36,000 as a prepayment on this loan, I want to show you what happens when he does. Okay. We're going to go down to 36,000. Look at this. Wow. Wow. $36,000 takes almost 5 years off this loan. Look at that. 36,000 off this loan, and saves him about $72,000 in interest that he never has to pay the bank. He was impressed by that until he says, well, what if I lose my job? I don't have this cash anymore. I said to him, can you get a line of credit? He said, well, I work at the bank. I just created 36 grand in equity. Of course I can get a line of credit. So I said, can you get a line of credit for 36,000? He could get more, but we just use this as an example. It says, of course I could get a line of credit for 36,000. Okay. Then I said, how much is that line of credit costing you? He says, well, if I don't use it, it doesn't cost me anything. So I said to him, so you could have $36,000 available to you just in case something goes wrong, and most likely will never go wrong. But while it's waiting, it's not costing you a dime. He says, that is correct. But by you putting that $36,000 in the bank, just sitting there, it's going to cost you 72 grand in interest you don't need to pay. He says, oh. I said, now let's go to worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is this. You have to, because of a reversal in fortune, you have to dip into your line of credit and you have to use it all. I mean, all 36 grand. Let me show you what happens if he does. I'm going to duplicate this tab. We're going to put in 36,000. Okay. And I'm going to use a 7% interest rate. Okay. All right. No, let's even make it 9. I'm gonna use a 9% interest rate, and we're going to give him 5 years to pay it back. Now he could pay it back sooner than that, but I'm going to give him 5 years to pay it. And I want to show you what banking does to us because we don't think about it. Watch this. Okay. So 5 years. So his minimum payment would be $747.30. That's if he made all 60 payments. Can I show you what his interest cost would be if he didn't use our program, but he made all 60 payments instead? This is why people are scared of borrowing money, because they're told that the interest that they have to pay, there's something wrong with that. And they're not doing the math. They just react to the word interest payments. Okay, let me show you what his total interest payment would be. $8,838. Afraid of $8,000 in interest he would have to pay this loan back if he made every single payment, as opposed to putting $36,000 in the bank and paying 72 grand in interest on it. So the question then becomes, would you pay $72,000 in order to save $8,000? Come on, everybody.
I can show you how to knock that $8,000 down. That's why everything works together.
Yes.
I can show you how you will never pay even $8,800 on that line of credit while you're knocking off $72,000 of a mortgage. What could people do with $72,000 in a 5-year period if they weren't throwing it away to the bank? If we could just get people to understand that $72,000 is a farce that's not really there, but it's going to be there if you keep sitting like you have no common sense and, oh, I have to make my payments. I have to make my payments. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't.
So listen, Christie, this is so good for the people to know. And you're right. Because you have a line of credit, you do not have to pay all of that interest. And there's an easy way not to pay this interest if you have a line of credit. And Christie, I know you teach an easy way not to pay all that interest. Can you share some of that with us, please?
Okay, so let me make sure that my screen is, because I'm going to use it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to mirror my camera here.
Okay.
All right, so, and you know what? The blur's on, and I don't know why.
Oh, you can.
I tried to take that off, but it wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah, it just shows.
Can you click on settings?
Yeah.
And take that off.
Let's see what it says here. Oh, there you go. You're so smart. I mean, you're smart in more ways than one. Okay, so we're talking about a $36,000 line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
And let's pretend we've got somebody that makes $5,000. We'll go with the average rate for the American income right now, the household income. Right here in this county, I'm not even going to, I'm going to say what it is. Do you know what the average household income is here in my county? $3,600 a month.
Okay.
That's pretty low, I think. So the average American family household brings in about $5,400 a month, is somewhere close. So we're going to say $5,400. This is your line of credit. They make $5,400, and so I'll go over here and show $5,400 income, and let's say that they have $1,500 in living expenses. Let's just give them $4,000 a month in living expenses, and that's their rent or mortgage, that's their utilities, that's subscriptions, food, gas, everything. Okay,
right.
So they are going to pay out $4,000 a month in expenses, which means that they're going to have a cash flow of $1,400. Now, this is just the way I calculate things in my own little elementary head, so I can understand what we're going to do with this line of credit. When you have a personal line of credit or a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, or maybe a BLOC, a business line of credit, anything that's a revolving line, okay? Revolving means that you can put income, any payments into it, usually as much as you want throughout the month, and then you can pull back out as you need the funds. The credit card is only chargeable expenses. So you can charge whatever the limit is on that card, and then you can put the income you have back into the card to pay it off every month if that's the way you choose to do it. But you can't usually take cash from a credit card without a cash advance fee. We don't play with cash advance fees because they're very expensive. But with a credit card that's linked to your checking account, you absolutely, most of the time, can pull cash from that credit card into your checking account without any fees. Okay, so the revolving line of credit could come in those ways: the HELOC, the P.I.L.L, the B.L.O.C, the credit card, depending on which you have access to. So we're going to pretend that this is a HELOC or a P.I.L.L. And with the HELOC or P.I.L.L, you can put all of your income into this line of credit.
Okay.
All right. So because I'm not a math whiz, I'm going to use my calculator just so that I don't make any mistakes here. So that income going in is going to reduce the average daily balance. The banks charge interest on the average daily balance of these lines of credit. All right. So when your income goes in, you have reduced, even if this is at a 10%, let's say it's at 10%, you're going to reduce what you're paying in interest, because we don't allow the balances to sit just month after month after month. So what this would look like, if you let it set for the entire year at 10%, you're going to pay $3,600 for the entire year. So to do the math, you would do 36,000 times 10%. That's going to equal the 3,600 for the whole year. Because we love to play this game of velocity banking, if you put your income in and you're trying to figure out what your daily rate might look like, you would divide this by 365. And that was going to tell you, okay, I'm going to pay $9.86 per day as long as this stays at 36,000. But when your income is hitting this, and it doesn't matter if it's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, it doesn't matter. As long as you're putting it in here, you're going to reduce this. So your average daily balance is kind of, in my mind, figured with your low for the month and your high. You're going to figure out what your average is. So 36,000 plus 30,600 equals 66,600 divided by 2. You're going to pay 33,300 for your average daily balance. That would be what your interest would be calculated on. So 33,300, then times the 10%. So times 10% equals $3,330 for the year. And then let's just divide it by 12 so that we have an idea of what our interest is going to look like. So it's going to be somewhere around $277.50. So I hope that makes sense for the people watching, because I like to break that down so that you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about when we're using numbers in a percent, so you have an idea of what your interest is going to look like. So the average interest would probably be around $278 for when this $5,400 income going in through here to here throughout the month. Now, when you're just doing the total, so 278, I think is what I said for the interest, what I do is I'll divide that by 2. And again, I'm elementary, so hang with me here. 139 would be your average interest paid from the beginning that you start the 36,000 line to the payoff. So let's see what it looks like your payoff period would be if you're using the $5,400 income to hit this every month until you pay it off. So what I do is I'll take the $5,400 minus your $4,000 in expenses, and then we're going to take out the 139 just to account for some interest here. So 1,400 minus 139 is 1,261. So when I say, okay, how long is it going to take me to pay off $36,000 in a line of credit with 1,400 for your cash flow, then you would just take the 36,000 divided by the 1,261, That's going to give you a 28-month, about 29, let's just say, because it's got some numbers there. So 29 months, this would pay off. Okay, so 29 then times the 139 for interest is $4,031. So you've paid $4,031 for the interest to pay off a $36,000 line of credit if you're using velocity banking correctly. So now, if you're paid bi-weekly or weekly, you're going to pay this off earlier because you may get an extra check in there that's going to help you to pay it down. Maybe you have a tax return that comes in that you can pay this down. Maybe you get bonuses. The fact is this 4,000 down from the 8,800 that Don showed you earlier, and definitely down from the 72,000 plus you were going to be paying over the 5-year period. This is elementary, people. This is not Don's super smart. So he's probably got a spreadsheet to show you over there. But the point being that when you run the numbers the way I look at numbers, it gives you a basic idea of how you're almost saving $70,000 in interest on paying those mortgage payments every month.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Listen, folks. Can you see the benefit of money that we are told to put into a checking account to pay bills that does not work for us, but works for the bank? Exactly. And have you heard of factorial? Not factorial, but fractional reserve lending? For every dollar you deposit, the bank can lend out between $8 and $10 for every dollar you have on deposit. Right. Of course, they want you to put money into the checking account and pay you nothing for it. Of course. But if your income just sitting there can work for you to cancel interest, this is what we're talking about. Interest cancellation works. But once you plug a computer into it, your interest cancellation is multiplied several different times, and you're moving the right amount of money in the right month on the right day of the month and taking advantage of what Christie was talking about, combining it with an AI system that's going to save you even more money because it takes all of that math into account, and the program is doing all the math in the background. You know?
Well, one more thing I would like to throw in.
Yes.
Is when I'm talking to somebody about they're working down their mortgage with the Money Max, and so, with the P.I.L.L method, mm-hmm. and then you are literally taking from this line of credit. We don't have to wait 29 months until this pays off to do another chunk on our home. We can do this in 6 months. We can do, let's say, in 6 months, you're going to have $6,000 that you can chunk onto the mortgage, or maybe you wait 10 months and you have $10,000 you can chunk onto the mortgage. The fact is that you can make super fast debt elimination on the mortgage if you're using the line of credit correctly and you're using the system with it. I mean, if people are serious about getting out of debt, you're going to get out of debt because you have so many options to really fast forward what your mortgage is doing.
You see, folks,
the demon that tells people that they have a 30-year mortgage and the only way they're going to get any money out of their equity is to refi that thing in 3 years after they've already paid 3 years worth of this crazy interest. Do people understand that if you were to refi in the 5th year and you've paid $72,000 in interest, that when you refi it, you're going to get to pay $72,000 in that same interest again? People just aren't aware. We're not aware.
No, Christie, we are not. And I've been teaching that exact thing for years. And let me show you something else, ladies and gentlemen, that's going on when it comes to when it comes to refinancing, because one of the things that people don't think about is if I've paid down my loan down to $240,000, okay, 240,000, and I get a refinance to lower my rate, or whatever, then I have to pay closing costs, which is, let's say, it's around $10,000. So let's say I refinance this loan. I was at 7, all right? Now I can get 5.5, all right? We're going to change it to 5.5. Come on, Don, let's get it right. 5.5, all right? Because the interest rates are going to drop. Most refinances, let me tell you, they give you a new 30-year loan. It's not the interest rate that is the real determining factor in your lower payment. It is taking what you owe and dividing it by a new 360 payments. That's what really lowers your payment, not the interest rate. Now, let's just say I can get 5.5 interest rate, and instead of 241,000, now I have 251,000 because because they roll the $10,000 into this loan. Can I show you what happens when we do that? Now my payment is just a little bit higher because I put the $10,000 in. There we go. All right. So it's 14, 25, 15. That's not bad. But remember, I was down to 241,000. What do I have to do to get back down to from 251 down to 241? I have to pay back the $10,000 at 5.5% on a mortgage, amortized. Well, let me show you something here. In the first year, look at cumulative principal. How much principal have we paid back in the first year? Only $3,300, $3,381.20 of the $10,000 I rolled into the loan. How much interest have I paid on a $3,000 loan? $13,000. Okay. By the time I paid back the $10,000, okay, just in closing costs, look, it's 34 months, almost 3 years, and a total of $38,000. So how much did this refinance cost me if I'm not careful? $48,000. The $10,000 that I rolled into the loan, plus the $38,000 that they charged me on the $10,000 loan. So let me ask you this, okay? While you're refinancing, let me ask you this. If your credit union called you up today and said, have I got a deal for you? We're going to lend you $10,000 for 3 years, and all you have to pay us is $38,000 interest on the $10,000 loan. Would you take it? Would you sign up for that? And every single one of you would say no. But if you're refinancing to get a lower interest rate, this is what you're signing up for. And I've got one other question to ask you. If you borrowed $10 from me, and then you paid me back my $10 plus the $10 interest that I'm looking for, isn't that 100% interest? Well, what if you borrow $10,000 and pay back $10,000 in interest? Is that 100% interest? What if you borrow $10,000 and pay $20,000 in interest? Isn't that 200% interest? $30,000 is 300% interest. Folks, this is 380% interest that a person with perfect credit got fooled into paying on a $10,000 loan. 380%. Don't do it. This is what's really going on behind the scenes. So to keep from doing that, why not just keep the loan you have and pay it off in 7 years? What do you say, Christie?
I say you're right. And I'm digging over here because, getting away from, let me see if I have it. I think I do right quick. Getting away from even the mortgage, you've got, and I don't want to show any names because I don't want to offend any banks,
Yes.
And I don't look like I have one here, but checks in the mail. Checks in the mail. They are so fooling the American people with the checks in the mail. The fact is, oh, here we go. I happen to have one. So, people, if you're getting these, sorry, I'm messing up your show.
That's okay. Go right ahead, Christy. Not a problem.
Do you all see these?
I'm going to make this even bigger. Hold on for just a second. There it is. Now you have the whole screen. Yeah, this is a loan.
So I knocked all of this information off because I'm not trying to embarrass the bank, but I'm trying to say, what in the heck? I mean, this one right here, I did the numbers on it. It was 360% interest on this one. I've seen them up to 600%. That's insane because they tell you, oh, if you pay this back, you know, we're going to give you a rate at a low rate of 38.64%. Really? Really? For a $6,000 loan. I did a video on it, and I believe that you could get the $6,000 and you were going to be paying back $19,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And those are checks in the mail. And so that's why I make videos talking about the checks in the mail, because let's face it, they come around Christmas time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Because guess what? You want to provide some gifts, nice gifts, maybe for your family. And that is so pulling at your emotional attachment to your family is, well, I'll take this right now because, you know, it's going to give me some room. And you know what? It's only $240 a month. And I have that in cash flow. So I'll just take the check. It's $1,500. I'm going to pay $240 for the next 450 years. But I get to provide a little bit of nice gifts for my family. That is so wrong in every way. It's not even funny. And like you were just showing with the mortgage, yeah, all day long you can pull up mortgages and do that. But they're not just using mortgages, they're using this against people who need $1,500, who need $500. You know, I've seen them as low as 500 that they'll send you, and they'll say, oh, you can have this for the low price of $98 a month. But the thing is it runs out 18 months.
Yes.
So do the math. I just think that the American people and the world needs to be educated on what the bank is doing. And I'm not mad at the bank. I mean, they're making money.
Yes.
You know, we're in a great society here, I think, that we can make as much money as we want to make. And the banks have the okay to do this. And happy for them, but you do not have to do it. You do not have to be caught in that cycle.
You do not have to pay them all that money, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to learn. See, P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount. How much should we pay and when? Leverage, meaning what's the smallest amount of money I can pay to get the biggest return I can get. All right. And liquidity, understanding all of your money, the money that you have in your hand, the money that you have in the bank, the money that you have on credit cards, the money that you have on lines of credit. We're taught how to look at money you pay interest on as a bad thing, when in fact, if you learn how to leverage, you can cut your interest costs by 75%. You can actually make it a benefit to borrow money. And if you watch out, if you do it right, if you use your cash, at the P.I.L.L method, we don't pay cash for cars or houses ever.
Ever.
Why? Because if I have enough cash in an account to buy a house, probably I have it in an account that's making me somewhere between 6 and 10%. We show you how to borrow the money at 1% or less on average.
Wow.
So let me give you an example of that right here. I'm going to pull up one of my investor programs here that we did for a real estate investor. And let me show you what we did for him. All right, here it is. Okay, we're pulling it up now. We're going to put that on the screen. All right, here's a commercial investor. All right, and we got $2 million worth of loans here. $2.2 million. Okay, here's his cash flow on that, even when he takes into account vacancies, because this is 2 office buildings, bringing in $57,000. Over $57,000 monthly. And the mortgage payments are $14,000, a little less than $15,000. He told me, Don, you can't touch this money because I'm investing that right away. That's 63% of his income he's investing right away. But this money here, he's putting in the bank as a reserve fund, about $6,000 a month, about 11% of what he brings in. So I showed him how to use only this money. And I won't go into great detail, but instead of paying the bank $1,123,000, I showed him how he can pay $231,000 instead, saving him over $891,000. That's a 79% reduction in interest cost. And if you take a look at how much interest he actually paid to get this loan from the bank, and only pay $231,000. Let me zoom in on this for you. His interest rate would have to be 0.67%. That's less than 1%, folks. If you can borrow money that cheaply, what are you doing paying cash for buildings? Wow. That's what we're talking about when we're talking to investors. And not only that, but we will coach you on how to set up your next deal so that you get the right loan at the right time and cut your interest costs on that loan. You're going to get coached on the whole shooting match from now on. That's what we're talking about. So combining our forces with velocity banking, with infinite banking, and the P.I.L.L method, all coming together under one roof. I just love it, Christie.
That is awesome. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. Had I known about this system, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have. I mean, wow. I mean, it's just amazing that this has been out so long and it's not spread out to the world so that people realize there's a way to get free. The investors that I have, every one of them nearly want to be in this system because you can't control 10 mortgages at one time. I don't care how much money you're bringing in. You're not going to be able to cut the interest back on those 10 all at one time. But am I wrong in thinking that the system will do multiple mortgages at a time?
No, you're not wrong. In fact, I'm going to bring up an example of that very thing. Okay. On why you definitely need to have a system to manage all of those mortgages. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull it over so that we can actually see. I've got a demo, okay? And here it comes. We'll pull that over. Okay, so here's the P.I.L.L method international, ladies and gentlemen. And this is John and Rebecca Jones. But we're going to change this a little bit. We're going to reset this account and we're going to put in multiple properties. Okay. And we're going to reset that. Okay. So when we're talking about this, we want to say it's not enough just to save some interest. It's not enough to get out of debt faster. What we really want to do, it's not about getting out of debt. It's about lowering the cost of borrowing. That's the focus of our program, and that's always been our focus. Getting out of debt faster is a great byproduct, but lowering the cost of borrowing, that's what keeps you in debt forever. The high cost of borrowing. Lower the cost, you get out of debt faster. Okay. Right. So it's not about getting out of debt fast with the P.I.L.L method. It's about how to get out of debt cheap with the P.I.L.L method. So here's what we have here. In the accounts section, I'm clicking on the accounts tab. Okay. We have, look at this. 10 mortgages. Here's the 10th mortgage. Here's the first. Here's the second. Here's the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and a HELOC. So it's 10 mortgages in the HELOC, 11 mortgages altogether. This is the HELOC is referred to as a second mortgage. So when we take a look at the program is talking to us about how to get in our income. We have $15,000 worth of income coming in, and we just tell the program, I got my income in. It's point and click, ladies and gentlemen. It can't get any easier than that. And then, but in this month, we're starting out in the month of December, we're just making minimum payments on the loans. No matter how much money we have in the bank right now, minimum payments on the loans. But when we get into January, the program says we're going to get some more income. We're going to put $9,000 in savings. We're going to pay off the Visa. We're going to pay the HELOC to zero. And we're going to choose, the program is going to choose mortgage number 9 out of all the other mortgages and place $1,935.23 on mortgage number 9, not 25 cents, not $2,000, but $1,935.23, because this is the optimum amount to kill the maximum amount of interest per dollar. Okay, so let me show you what happens when we put this amount of money on mortgage number 9. You're going to be amazed. I need to blow this up just a little bit. Okay, that saves us $23,125. $1,900 placed on this debt, prepaid before the bank is looking for it, saves $23,000 in interest. Don, how can that be? How does that work? Well, let me show you something. You can show you a little bit of simple math. This is what we built into the program. Okay, so if I go into the accounts and I look at mortgage number 9, let's scroll down to mortgage number 9. Okay, it's $487,000 at 6.5%. If I click on the history here and look over to the left, I need you to see something. When you make a payment on this mortgage of $2,851.17 is the payment, it's discounted by the interest payment by $2637.92, which means $213 goes to principal. Now, you can just do the math yourself, but for every $215 prepaid, you save over $2,600 in interest for every 213 or 215 bucks. That's how you need to take a look at your money. I got 200 bucks in the bank. I have 600 bucks in the bank. Christie and I see people with $50,000 to $100,000 sitting in a savings account in the bank, when they can take a small amount of money, put 200 bucks on, and kill $2,600 worth of interest because no one showed them how to read an amortization schedule. This is what the P.I.L.L method brings to you. The idea of understanding how loans work, understanding what this program is actually doing for you, and we explain it to you during our coaching sessions, because everything you've learned to do, putting large down payments on the loan, you won't do that anymore. Okay, refinancing to a lower interest rate, not necessary if you're not an investor. We're going to show you how to not to buy down the rate, but to actually say, you know what, I can work better with this 7% interest rate than I can with the 5.5% interest rate, because we've learned that from the P.I.L.L method. So everything that you've learned to do, we're going to be teaching you the opposite, because you're going to learn how an amortization schedule actually works. The basis of all of this is that formula for amortization. And if you don't know how that works, how can you possibly put together a program that's going to save you money? Well, that's kind of what we do here. And I'm so glad Christie was able to come in. And I need you all to look her up on YouTube and follow her on YouTube and add to her 377,000 followers.
I was going to interrupt you there and say I was looking at my appointment I had last night because you just showed exactly what we were dealing with last night. And the person, this couple, they had over $173,000 sitting in the bank.
Wow.
In a savings account and checking. So it was everywhere. So I said to them, because we were looking at this high interest mortgage they had, which I think was only at, it was right at 5%. But when I run the numbers and I saw what they were paying in interest, I said, so tell me, is your $173,000 that's sitting in the bank right now, is it drawing $2,300 a month in interest for you?
Wow.
And they were like, oh, no, of course not. Of course not. No, no. Why would they be doing? Well, I said, well, then you don't have $173,000 sitting in savings. You just think you do because you're paying it out in payments over here and it's coming out of your income. I said, what happens when you stop that interest flow there going out and you stop it? And now your savings is actually doing something for you to gain some money. So I showed them just to take a basic $10,000 chunk and putting onto that mortgage right now, which I will tell you, they're going for their personal analysis in the system, of course. They're going to see how that works for them, and they're going to buy into that program because the fact is that they were throwing away $2,300 a month in interest that they don't have to be throwing away. And when we can show them that either through a line or through the system, whatever, it's a choice. People have to be comfortable. They have to make the decision. We just offer the options so that they can see what's available to do. But everything out here, there's so many things that can stop you from paying the interest. It's just, are you willing to learn and get educated on what options are available? Isn't that what it comes down to? I worked with a lady in the UK today, and the UK and Canada, their mortgages blow my mind because they have a completely different setup from the US. And when I looked at her, she had 4 or 5 mortgages, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And she has to refi them this year because she's coming up on her 5th year. And so I was talking to her because I love getting educated on how the other countries do their banking. And she was literally showing me that she has to refi that if she pays it, and they're interest only. So she's been paying interest for 5 years and the balances are not coming down. She's just paying interest. And now she's going to refi them into, I guess, another fix, however it works. You're going to have to train me on that because
I can help you with that.
But it was like when I literally said to her, are you ever the owner of your property? And she said, no, I'm responsible for them, but I won't be owner when I die. This goes back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You're like, oh my, you've sit and paid rent on these properties, basically. And then when you die, everything you've been throwing away is just gone.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. So that's where you come in.
Well, listen, Christie, when you talk about interest-only loans, okay, there's a couple of things going on in Canada. They have to refinance their loans every 5 years. That's right. Number one. Okay. And on residential property, okay, it's not the same here in the US, but on residential property, it is not uncommon to have prepayment penalties.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Prepayment penalties. And so when it comes to that, couple of things. I changed the word prepayment penalties to prepayment cost. How much does it cost to prepay?
Mhm.
Now, when you're looking at a Canadian bank, often whichever bank you're using will have a calculator so that you can calculate your prepayment penalty. But guess what they don't show you? How much interest you save when you prepay.
Wow.
I showed a client how they can save $100,000 in interest by prepaying. Okay. When we put it all into the calculator, guess what the prepayment penalty was? $1,200.
Okay.
$1,200 to prepay, but they would save $100,000. I would make that trade every day of the week.
You are teaching me so much because I deal with Canadians every week. And in my mind, it's always been, you're stuck. I mean, you're stuck. I'm sorry, I can't help you, until I met you.
Yeah.
And now I have such hope for the Canadians that I wish I could stream this on my channel so that they can see that there is a way. I tried to stream, by the way, and I can't. But I'm going to put this up. The fact is that if the Canadians were aware of this, because when we talk, every week, well, I have a 20%, I think it's 20% at some banks, prepayment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And you have to refi in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how does a Canadian ever pay off their mortgage? How do you do that?
Well, listen, folks, let me tell you something about what I believe is the very best loan to have. And most people think that an interest-only loan is a bad product. In fact, it's one of the best products going. When you have an interest-only loan, let me show you something here. I'm going to put this on the screen. Christie, listen, you're giving me an opportunity to share a lot today. Okay?
Oh, I love this. I love learning.
All right. So here is an interest-only loan. We're going to put in $400,000. That is the median home price in the U.S. right now at 7%. Okay. Uh-oh, that's 74.
Yeah, I was going to say, please, Lord, no.
Oh, yes. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And there it is. Okay. And we're going to get rid of these because they're distracting. All right. So the program will tell you what the interest-only payment is. The interest-only payment is $2,333.33. If you're making that payment for the next 10 years, that's how they do residential interest-only loans in the U.S. 10 years at the interest-only is the minimum payment. Interest-only loan does not mean you can only pay interest.
Right.
What it means is that your minimum payment is the interest. Okay. Now, if your payment is based on this, if you keep making this payment, this $400,000 doesn't move. And some people stay in that for 10 years. Okay. That's 100.
I know people. I have family members doing that right now.
Okay. Here's 100. That's 120 payments. Okay. Times $2,333.33. That's $280,000 in 10 years, and none of it went to principal.
Thrown away.
Okay. So, but your principal, your payment is based on how much you owe. Well, if you put $5,000 on this, now you owe $395,000. Does that change your minimum payment?
Yes.
You better believe it does. When you control the principal payment, you control the loan. And you can put money on principal at any time you are directed to. And when you are when you stay in control of when you pay principal, you can save even more interest. And for our clients, if you're paying interest, if you're supposed to pay interest for the first 10 years, but you can pay off the mortgage in 7, who cares?
That's right.
Who cares? Do you see what we're talking about here? The interest only loan is because now you're in control of every time you make a payment to principal, your minimum payment goes down. Every time you make another payment to principal, your minimum payment goes down. You are in complete control of this loan. Oh my gosh. I love interest only loans. I love them.
I love them too. That's what, and the line is interest only that I use.
Yep.
And I'll have people that'll, which should I choose? Principal and payment or interest only? And I'm like, all of mine are interest only. That way I can, chunk the heck out of that thing, get that thing paid off with a line of credit. You can turn around and use it again. And one thing I didn't show you about this was when your income goes into these lines of credit, the revolving line, you have satisfied any payment that was due on this line.
That's true.
So people say, yeah, but what's the payment going to be? And I bet if I've had that said one time in the comments on my YouTube channel, I've had it said 355,000 times, is they'll say, yeah, but you're not including the payment of that line. Well, guess what? If you listen to the videos, I'll say, as your income goes in, you have satisfied any payment that was due. I don't care if the payment due on this thing was $2,000 a month. When your $5,400 goes in here, you've satisfied that. Okay. Yes. That's considered cash flow now because it's gone in here, it's sitting here, and you're only paying the interest that I was showing.
Yes.
That's all that you'll see on the next statement date, except then they'll show the payment due again. So you're right, the interest only, they change up the game. And I mean, I just appreciate you so much because the way you show this, you lay this out in elementary terms so that people can understand what they're doing when they're using your method, or they're using a line of credit like I showed to with the method that you're using. It's just a game changer for people. And I hope that they really realize that you and I both are just trying to help them free. This is free information. You're just getting educated right here on ways that you can move to stop the interest on whatever loan that you have. And you know what? My service is, I don't care. It's like, don't schedule anything for me. I don't want to see you anyway. The point is I want you to save your money and put it on these stupid loans and get out of debt. My videos teach you everything you need to know using a line of credit. So you don't have to hire any gurus or anybody. But when you're in a situation to where, like I said, when we first started, if you have a low credit score, if you're in the low 600s, you can forget getting a line of credit right now. If you are self-employed and you can't verify your income, you're not going to be able to get a worthy line of credit. And you know what? Even if you have a good credit score, but your DTI is too high, you owe too much for what your income can support according to the bank, which is usually 42% or less. You're talking about knocking out most of the people in the world from getting a line of credit. So that's where this system comes in, and it's like, wow, I can help you. I don't care what your credit score is. And that's beautiful. But, on top of that, even if you have the line of credit, you're going to be working doubly, triply, is that a word, fast, because now you're able to be chunking with this line while the system is helping to eliminate the interest. So it's a win-win, I have a guy in Colorado who's using the system with a line, and he was told he would be out of debt in about 5.2 years. Well, he called me about, I don't know, he was into it about 3 months, and he said, I've been using the line of credit to knock off my other, smaller debt that he had. And he said, I'm gaining cash flow that I'm putting right back into the system to use as cash flow. And he said, I'm down to a 3-year payoff. And I'm like, well, praise the Lord, And that's what I said. It's going to work. So, gosh, people, at least, like I'm telling people all the time, get a free personal analysis. You're going to know if it's going to work for you or not. And that's what's beautiful about the system.
Well, listen, folks, you definitely want to do that. How do you get a free savings report? Okay, so let me put that on the screen, and we'll show you how to do that. And we're going to go to ice10k.com, and let's put that on the screen. There we go. ice10k.com. All right. And the first thing you're going to see is Dr. Eric Thomas. He is the #1 motivational speaker in the entire world right now. And he used the P.I.L.L method to get rid of his mortgage early. Okay. So scroll down underneath his picture and you'll see Get a Savings and Earnings Report. ice10k.com. That's ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. Click on that and then click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. And the first thing you see is don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report now. Put your information in. Click on I want to save, and it'll take you to our financial page. Plug in your finances that the program is asking for, and someone will give you a call back to confirm your data. We will then give you a savings report that will look something like, let me pull up a savings report for you. It'll look something like this. Okay. Here's a savings report. All right. Now, this is for commercial. Let me get something that is a little smaller for somebody who has a residential property. And let me see if I can find one here for residential. And let me see here. Yeah, I think this one's residential. Yeah, this one's only $99,000. Okay, $99,000. All right, but the bank wanted to pay $55,000 in interest, where they're going to end up paying $10,000 in interest. And instead of paying off in 25 years, they're going to be paid off in 5.1. Wow. But folks, here's the thing. The extra money you're paying on your loans, the money that you're losing on your loan, that's not the real problem here. The real problem is the money that money can never make for you if you pay it to the bank. We show you the savings in interest, what it could do for you over the 20 years they won't have this debt. Take that money that you're no longer giving to the bank and turn it into another $500,000 for yourself. And this is at a 1% return on your money. So we give you a savings and earnings report where you could take that money you're no longer giving to the bank and turn it into a $500,000 on your own, and take a $99,000 loan and turn it into a savings account of $555,000 to add to your retirement. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So stop giving it to the bank. Invest it in your own family. Now, we have to come back another time, Christie, where we could talk about putting that money into an infinite banking type situation, whether you use whole life or an IUL. Put that money into a cash generating insurance policy that grows your money tax free. I'm sure you have some information on that too, don't you, Christie?
I love the infinite banking concept. I love it. I'm learning more about that. I'm actually going in March to our Nelson Nash Institute's holding another conference, so I'm going to be attending that. I'm super excited about that because I have learned that what an amazing, that's what I said. The Lord, I asked him for wisdom. And sometimes I quit asking for wisdom because I'm like, oh, I've learned everything, but no, I haven't. And something new will pop up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never knew that. This is one of those things that you're like, amazing. It's amazing what is out there when you ask for wisdom and he gives it to you. So, yes. So back to what I was saying, that is a game changer for setting up the legacy for your family, for making sure they're taken care of when you're gone. The Bible says a good man leaves money to his family, to his grandchildren, to
Yep.
and
His
that's
children's children.
Yeah, right. So that would be grandchildren. Your great grandchildren. I mean,
Yes.
It depends on if you're teaching your children to do these things. And the point is, like I said again, get educated, because it's amazing what's out there to change your financial game. And the thing is that if you feel like you're smothering right now, like the couple did I worked with last night, bless them, they were smothering. And it's not fair that people think, oh, this is just, I'm just meant to be poor. The Lord wants me poor so he can keep me humble. Come on, let's get out of
Please.
that. Let's get out of that.
Oh my goodness.
The Lord Jesus said he came to give us life and life more abundantly. So let's live like it. And the point being that you do not have to be in the struggle. They have you in a struggle because you have a wrong mindset you were raised with. So we, with this method, with the lines of credit, with the infinite banking, your life can be completely turned upside down into beautiful compared to what you think. You think you're walking in the right way by making your payments. And you're doing a good job. We're proud of you. And, I've got a little applause button I could pull up here and we could all be so happy. But the thing is that's not reality. Reality is you could be so financially free you couldn't believe it right now with me just telling you. But you have to have some education. You have to get your numbers run. You have to kind of look to see what's around you, and you're going to be amazed. And one thing before I have to go here, but one thing that people talk to me about when they say, yeah, I looked into that, but it was, I don't want to take on more debt when I already have debt. Another lie that your mind is telling you. Because when you see what this system does for you in saving you decades of payments, I don't care if you're making $100 per month in a payment. Let's say that you have a 20-year mortgage and it's only $100 a month, and you're like, hey, I can pay this. That's no big deal. If you could knock that 20 years down to 10 years and save that $100 that you're going to be paying for 10 years, think about that for a minute. That's what this system offers you, is years and years and years of no payments to these things, because it knocked off the interest for you for those years. So I don't care if you're paying $3,000 to $20,000 for this system, depending upon your situation, you're going to win. It just depends on what interest you're going to be saving. And I promise you that whatever you pay into getting the system set up for you, it's going to be paid back. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're exactly right. Most people save enough interest in the first 3 to 6 months to more than pay for their lifetime program, and there's not another dime paid after that. Zero. I have people that are paying off their third and fourth house on a program I sold them years ago, and we haven't charged them another dime since.
Right.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen. Christie, thank you so much for being here today.
You are welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm just so, it was, I guess, a God thing that I was even able to sign on, because I'm usually covered up until at least 2 p.m. my time. And, it was just a pleasure to come on and learn from you, because I really, I really learned some things today. So I appreciate you.
I will make sure you get that link. So let's give her a hand clap, everybody. All right. All right. So thank you very much, Christie. I appreciate you being here today. And folks, I'm going to send this link to you at the time you came on with the timestamp, and you can put it on your you can put it up on your channel. And then we'll get together, and then I'll show you when you're on our show how you can simultaneously broadcast it to your channel at the same time.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, this is good information. So thank you for doing this. And like I said, you're changing people's lives. And I just appreciate the care that you're giving each and every client that you have. I just appreciate that. And that shows your heart.
Well, we just want to know, everybody, is that there's no reason for me actually to know what I know about this. It is because I have autism spectrum disorder. So when I look at an amortization schedule, this is what I see. So my autism is actually your benefit. So it just jumps off the screen at me. And I have, over the last 20 years or so, learned how to explain it to you. So I can't even take credit for that, Christie. God has given me this to share with others, just like God has given you something to share with others. And I'm so glad we're going to be working together in the future.
I appreciate that. And it is my pleasure. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Bye,
You too.
everyone.
Bye-bye, Christie. All right, folks, that was it. So listen, that was Christie Vann from Vantastic. Go to her channel and go ahead and subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to the P.I.L.L method as well. We're going to be working together from now on. Amazing, amazing. Do I have any other questions about what you've heard today? Any questions, any comments? Raise your hand. If you're here in Clubhouse, come to the stage and we will get that done. If not, we're going to be done for today. I want to thank everybody for being here if I don't have any other questions. But make sure that you're watching our videos on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Okay? So make sure that you're watching us. And if you like the shorter videos, then you probably like the TikTok or the Instagram videos. They're shorter, or you can click on, when you come to YouTube, you can click on the button that says videos. Those videos on YouTube are no longer than 10 minutes long, and they get right to a question and an answer with showing you the numbers. And that's what we do here at the P.I.L.L method, ladies and gentlemen. We show you the numbers. We prove that what we're saying to you is true. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're going to be back here next week doing it all over again. But thank you so very much, everybody. You know what? I can't. We're working on our new show for Wednesday. I can't tell you what it is just yet. All right. But you do want to be here next Wednesday, because we're working on it. I'm putting all the data together. I'm sure you're going to like it. So let's see you next Wednesday. And we're going to get out of here. And thank Jonathan Bing for providing us this space to share today. All right. And it just so happened that we could get Christie Vann from Vantastic to come in with us today as well. All right. So that's going to be it for today. So let me pull up everything that we need. I'm going to play a small commercial before we get out of here. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. Let's see what he had to say about the P.I.L.L method, and then we'll go.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. See you next week.